subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Move before it's determined whether they are criminals. I'm sorry, Tashigi. It would be too troublesome if we have to find the evidence first. Li Fan shook his head. I am not you. As long as I think it is the target of the enemy, I will shoot. Also, don't worry. We won't let them die. We just want to send them to the prison in Alabasta first. Of course, the premise is that they are honest enough. Saying that, Li Fan looked at Mr. One. You said just now that no swordsman can harm you, right? Then, why don't you try my sword? Facing Mr. One, Li Fan raised the sword in his hand high. The next moment, the two-handed sword turned into a phantom and hit Mr.'s head straight with a strong wind. Chapter 78, Target Location. Rain Feast, Seeking Flowers, boom. Li Fan's épée hit Mr. One's arms, directly swinging his arms away, and left a long scratch on his body. The épée hit the floor, causing a blast of air that sent Mr. One flying. Mr. One, seeing that Mr. One, who was known as the strongest in the Baroque Work Agency, was instantly defeated, the rest of the agents widened their eyes. Damn it, let's go together. Except for Zala, all the agents used their abilities to attack Li Fan. But under the huge difference in strength, in less than 10 seconds, all the agents who attacked Li Fan lost their fighting ability. Don't move, little girl, if you don't want this sword to fall on you. Looking at Miss Golden Week, who fell to the ground, Li Fan said in a cold tone. Li Fan in this state, even facing the little girl in front of him, has no fluctuations in his heart. Li Fan believes that if killing Miss Golden Week is of great benefit to him, now he can do it without hesitation. Sure enough, changing to this appearance will be affected a lot. Let's change back to normal after filming as soon as possible. Seeing Miss Golden Week, who was fainted by her fright, Li Fan shook his head, put away his two-handed sword, and walked in front of Zala. Tashigi on the side hurriedly ran to Miss Golden Week and helped her up with a worried face. At the entrance of the bar, Machida, who had watched Li Fan's fighting power the whole time, collapsed to the ground. Now Machida has no doubt that if he really escapes, he will definitely be severely punished by Li Fan. Allah, the guests are really rude. Facing Li Fan, Zala did not lie in the slightest. In her opinion, in the eyes of Machida, she is just a proprietress of a bar, not an agent of Baroque works. Therefore, even if Li Fan knocked down Mr. One and the others, he would not attack her. What she didn't know was that Li Fan knew her identity from the beginning. It's really embarrassing, my guest. You have broken a lot of my utensils. Mr. One's partner, miss both fingers, I know you. Huh? Zala, whose identity was called out, widened his eyes and then quickly stabbed Li Fan with a finger that turned into a spike. The spikes go straight through the gap in the helmet Li Fan is wearing. Li Fan. Tashigi turned his head in surprise. Don't worry, Tashigi. Li Fan raised his hand to stop Tashigi's movement. Miss points with both hands. You seem to have forgotten that I am in the state of a skeleton now. Seeing that Li Fan was fine, Zala quickly wanted to retreat, but Li Fan grabbed her hand that was attacking Li Fan earlier. Boom with a free hand. Li Fan made a lower uppercut, directly piercing through the counter in front of Zala and landed on her abdomen. The strong force made Zala faint. Li Fan. Tashigi stood up and looked at Li Fan with a complicated expression. Are you really sure they are from the Baroque Work Agency? Even if Machida told you something, it may not be true. Since the man has been caught, can't we find out after interrogating him again? Li Fan turned around and scattered the armor and two-handed sword created by advanced item creation, magic on his body. Afterwards, Li Fan grabbed the air with his hand, passed the door, and appeared beside him. Creation of low-level undead. Beside Li Fan, a skeleton soldier suddenly pierced the floor and came out from the ground. Portal. You take these people through this portal and bring them to the royal city. The skeleton seemed to understand Li Fan's words, nodded respectfully, and mentioned that the nearby Alabasta agents walked into the portal. Machida. Here, Makita, who was named, stood up immediately, with his eyes closed, not even daring to look at Li Fan. You go with the skeleton soldiers, tell King Cobra the identities of these people, and ask him to put them in prison. After that, he can use his methods to confirm whether these people are innocent. Of course, Li Fan looked at Tashigi at the side. Tashigi, you can also follow. What about you, Li Fan? Tashigi asked. I heard that Crocodile opened a casino at a place called Rain's Feast, and I'm going to check it out. Then I'll go with you too. Tashigi looked determined. Although he knows that he can't change Li Fan's mind, Tashigi has decided to stay by Li Fan's side no matter what. If Crocodile has nothing to do with the civil unrest in Alabasta, Tashigi intends to do his best to keep Li Fan from fighting Crocodile. At least, neither of you can die. This is Tashigi's true thoughts. It's up to you. Li Fan closed the portal casually. While he was talking to Tashigi, the skeleton soldiers had escorted the agents of the Baroque Li Lijiao agency to the castle. Similarly, Mikita is also playing. Li Fan already knows the location of the rain banquet, which is why Li Fan is no longer letting Michita lead the way. Although the soldiers in the castle were taken aback when they saw the sudden appearance of the skeleton soldiers, they were relieved after Michita explained that they were all summoned by Li Fan. Lead the skeleton soldiers towards the direction of the prison. Let's go, Tashigi. It's still early. Let's walk over slowly. Li Fan greeted Tashigi and walked out of the bar. Tashigi nodded and quickly followed Li Fan's footsteps. When she walked out of the bar, a magic shield automatically appeared beside her, preventing the rain from dripping on her body. Chapter 79, Crocodile's Dangerous Situation. Hey, Li Fan, are you really still Li Fan now? Walking beside Li Fan, Tashigi asked in a low voice, and at the same time her hand involuntarily touched the butterfly clip on her head. In Tashigi's mind, he couldn't help but recall the scene where Li Fan put on a butterfly hairpin for herself. Why do you ask that? Li Fan asked. I don't know why, but now you seem to be very different from before, especially when you gave me hairpins. Tashigi thought in his heart. Obviously, you at that time were so gentle. Now you always become, it's getting more brutal, isn't it? Li Fan took up Tashigi's words. It's normal for you to feel this way. Have you read the script of Overlord 1? In fact, my current state is the same as that of Ain's Ulgown. The current me is affected by some undead, so you may feel a little cold. However, you don't have to worry. I'm still me. I'm still the fan who's obsessed with making movies. Hearing this, Tashigi was slightly relieved. She was really worried about 047, and now the people around her had unknowingly replaced someone. Then, Li Fan, can you become what you were before? I always feel a little strange about you now. Of course it will change back, but it will have to wait until after the filming is completed. Naturally, Li Fan also wanted to restore Ain's Ulgown's abilities when he was not using them. But it's a pity. It's like opening a bow and there is no turning back. After using Ainzi Ergon's template, Li Fan also temporarily lost the ability to transform back. In addition to waiting for the expiration of the template usage period, only the completion of the film can restore Li Fan to his original appearance. Of course, compared to the power he gained, Li Fan has nothing against this short-lived skeleton body. Would you wait until the filming is over before changing back to the original? Tashigi frowned. However, soon, Tashigi made up his mind. She wants to help Li Fan make this movie wrap up as soon as possible, and let the Li Fan she is familiar with come back as soon as possible. As if seeing Tashigi's worry, Li Fan reached out and brushed Tashigi's hair. Tashigi, this butterfly hair clip really suits you. It's really beautiful. Hearing Li Fan's words, Siki was taken aback. Seeing Li Fan looking at her seriously, Tashigi smiled. Sure enough, you're still Li Fan. On the other side, Rain Feast, where the crocodile is located. In the underground office. Still can't reach them. Mrs. All Sunday. On a leather sofa, Crocodile asked with a gloomy face. Unfortunately, yes. Nico Robin put down the phone bug. From now on, no matter what, Mr. One and the others cannot be contacted. Think about it. Your subordinates have been killed, Crocodile. On the other side of the sofa, Hawkeye Myhawk said, Myhawk, are you trying to say that my subordinates were fired by what you called Li Fan? Crocodile looked at Myhawk with a frown. Also, what are you doing here? Are you here to see my jokes? I just want to see what you, who are Shichibukai like me, are doing here. The corners of Myhawk's mouth curled up, Now it seems that you are indeed plotting something against this country. However, unfortunately, you met that Li Fan, and your purpose can only wither in the end. Boom Crocodile punched the desk. My hawk, if you're just here to laugh at me, get out of here. Oomph. I didn't want to stay too long. My hawk stood up, ajped, and walked towards the door. This time, besides the reason just now, I also feel that this time may be the last time I see you. That's why I came here to see you. My hawk, do you mean that I'm going to be killed? Crocodile looked at my hawk with an ugly face. Anyway, you did affect Li Fan's purpose. My hawk stopped and looked sideways at Crocodile, and unfortunately, Li Fan's condition is very dangerous now. At this time, he may not like to show mercy. Also, do you think you have a chance if he can control the rain? Although you have come to a desert country, this is no longer your home field. Give you a piece of advice. Give up your purpose and leave this country. Perhaps you and Li Fan can live in peace. After speaking, my hawk opened the door and walked out. In the room, Crocodile's face was so gloomy that it was about to drip water. Even without my hawk's reminder, Crocodile knows that Li Fan is quite difficult. With the whole of Alabasta under torrential rain, the crocodile has lost its biggest advantage. In the rain, he couldn't even elementalize his body. At this point, Nico Robin, who has a good understanding of Crocodile, can naturally see it. Originally, Nico Robin thought that if Mihawk didn't help Li Fan might not really be able to beat Mihawk. After all, Alabasta is Crocodile's home court. However, what Nico Robin didn't expect at all was that just after Li Fan came to this country, there was a heavy rain that covered the entire Alabasta. After Li Fan left the dock, Nico Robin tentatively approached and observed the Death Knight, who had stopped all action since killing the pirate. Although the Death Knight didn't attack Nico Robin had no doubt that it had the ability to kill himself due to the oppressive force on it. And after seeing Mihawk, who just came here, warn Crocodile so solemnly, Nico Robin no longer thinks that Crocodile can beat Li Fan at all. She just wants to stay away from Crocodile now and avoid getting involved in the dispute between Crocodile and Li Fan. Then, Mr. Zero, if there is nothing else, I will leave first. Since the agents cannot be contacted, why not let me find them in person and see the outside world? Hearing this, Crocodile raised his head and looked at Nico Robin with a frosty face. Miss All Sunday. No, Nico Robin, you're trying to get away from me, aren't you? Chapter 80 Conflict with the Sand Crocodile. Nico Robin, do you think I will fail? So you want to betray me like you betrayed other pirates? After that, do you still want to join Li Fan? And tell him that this country has the Gudo weapon, Pluton. As he said that, the atmosphere on Crocodile became more serious. Mr. Zero, I think you misunderstood. I didn't mean it that way. Nico Robin took a step back without a trace. Since you don't have that intention, just stay here, Nico Robin. The relevant information can be investigated by other members of the Baroque Work Club. Afterwards, when they report to you, I can also hear it directly. Nico Robin frowned, but finally stopped and sat back in his seat. Time passed slowly in the silence of the two. Although Nico Robin had told other members of the Baroque Work Club to inquire about the news before, no matter how much he waited, no news came back. Bang, bang, bang. A sudden knock on the door broke the silence of the room. Nico Robin and Crocodile looked up and looked at each other. Lord Crocodile, it's me, the casino waiter. It's like this. There's a special guest here, and I want to see you. Special guest. Crocodile frowned. Naturally, he could clearly hear the fear in the waiter's tone. At this moment, he had a bad premonition in his heart. Okay, you can bring it here. Next, I will come by myself. You can go. A voice unfamiliar to Crocodile, but very familiar to Nico Robin, came into the room where Crocodile was. Yes. Thank you, sir. I will leave now. The excited voice of the waiter sounded, followed by the sound of hurried footsteps entering the room. Are you coming? Crocodile stood up from the chair directly, looking in the direction of the door with a serious face. Squeak, the door opened slowly, and the first thing Crocodile was introduced to was Li Fan's shining red eyes. Is this guy Li Fan? Looking at Li Fan, who walked in, Crocodile thought to himself. As for Tashiji, it was automatically ignored by Crocodile. See you again, Nico Robin. Li Fan, who walked into the room, ignored Crocodile, but looked at Nico Robin and said hello. Nico Robin also responded with a smile. Crocodile, who was ignored, gritted his teeth, feeling even more angry in his heart because of the appearance of the torrential rain. You are Li Fan. What did you come to me for? Hearing Crocodile's words, Li Fan turned to look at him. I'm here to tell you that this country is covered by me. Whatever purpose you have for this country, give it up now. Leave here. I cannot shoot you. Boom. Crocodile angrily smashed the desk in front of him. Who do you think you are? If you let me leave, I will leave. I am a sand crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Let the world government know that you want to steal this country, your identity as 7 warlords of the sea will also be lost. Li Fan said, give up, Crocodile. Your plan has failed. The Dancing Fan's plan is completely useless under my ability. Those rebellious people will go back soon. And the senior agent of the Baroque Work Agency has also been arrested by me. Even if you come up with a new plan, you won't have enough people to carry it out. Hearing this, Crocodile was silent. Li Fan, why don't we cooperate? After a little thought, Crocodile said, all you want is to shoot movies in this country and build movie theaters, right? However, to achieve such a goal, wouldn't it be better to take this country into your own hands than to cooperate with King Cobra? You and I cooperate. We will overthrow Alabastus' regime together. After that, I will find a way to push you to the position of king. What do you think? Hey, are you so kind? Li Fan asked. Give me the king's position. What benefits can you get? I just need to get one treasure from this country. Crocodile's lips curled up. As long as you agree to my request. Zero, seeking flowers. Me and my Baroque Work Agency can act immediately and cooperate. To Shiji, you have heard it all. Now, you should believe that Crocodile is the Black Hand who caused a civil strife in Alabasta. Suddenly, Li Fan looked at Daswei beside him. At this moment, Tashiji was looking at Crocodile in surprise. Before, although Princess Vivi insisted that Crocodile was the Black Hand, but Tashiji wasn't entirely convinced. Before entering this room, Li Fan had asked Tashiji not to speak, and it was Li Fan who had the conversation with Crocodile. Its purpose is to set out the words related to the Crocodile and Alabasta civil unrest. Crocodile, I reject your proposal. Besides, I don't need to talk to you anymore. Li Fan slowly raised his hand to point at Crocodile. It's rare to meet someone with Logia fruit ability. So let me do an experiment, Crocodile. 9th level magic, heart mastery. Suddenly, an extremely bad feeling enveloped Crocodile's body. Without hesitation, Crocodile immediately elementalizes. The next moment, he discovered that his heart had been crushed to pieces for no reason. Fortunately, because of elementalization, Crocodile's heart just turned into sand and scattered. And after a while, the heart was reconstituted under Crocodile's manipulation. Hey, it's indeed elementalization. Even a 9th level magic can't cause damage. Li Fan nodded with interest. Damn it, UBD. Crocodile's face was gloomy, and a treasured knife made of sand-cut G-Fan. Desert sword. Boom, Crocodile's desert sword was blocked by the magic barrier that Li Fan built in front of him, and it turned into flying sand directly. However, Crocodile clearly has a second hand. He appeared in front of Li Fan following the desert sword. Arclinate Dunes. Crocodile's arm turned into a huge crescent-shaped sand blade and slashed towards Li Fan's body. At Chapter 81 Terrible Black Hole. From Crocodile's point of view, since the battle has already begun, he should spare no effort to defeat Li Fan as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, though, Crocodile's attack hit Li Fan. A bolt of lightning flew out from Li Fan's outstretched finger, directly blasting Crocodile away. Crocodile then reassembled his body in the center of the room. Dragon Thunder. Can't harm it. It seems that magic can't effectively restrain Logia ability users like Hockey. But so what? Li Fan raised his hand, and dangerous magic power condensed around him. Crocodile noticed it immediately. His body was completely elementalized, ready to resist Li Fan's attack. Feel the despair. Chloe 003 Keetle. Black hole. A black void that could devour everything, and whose attack ability could even instantly kill 7th level summons suddenly appeared beside Crocodile. What? Crocodile was shocked. Although he wanted to escape, at this time, even if he wanted to evacuate, it was too late. A strong suction force was generated from the black hole, and before Crocodile could do anything, his body was directly sucked into the black hole. The next moment, the black hole disappeared, and the room fell into silence again. It's done, let's go to Shiji. Li Fan turned around and walked out of the house. Wait, Li Fan, is Crocodile dead? Well, totally dead. Oops. Tashiji put his head in his hands. Li Fan, although Crocodile was wrong, you shouldn't have killed him directly. I have no actual evidence that he did anything bad to Alabasta. Just let me say it verbally. I don't know if the higher-ups will believe it. Tashiji, there's nothing to do about it. Li Fan patted Tashiji, who seemed a little anxious. I can only blame Crocodile for being too weak. It's just my black hole. He can't resist it. However, after this incident, I understand that even a Logia Fruit ability user can still cause quite good damage to them if they use their abilities correctly. Let's go to Shiji. Anyway, Crocodile is dead. Next, you just need to report what you saw, and then let those people decide what to do. You don't need to keep worrying. Hearing this, Tashiji sighed deeply and followed Li Fan's footsteps. At this time, even Nico Robin and Tashiji in the room are not in the mood to take care of it. In an empty room, Nico Robin looks to where Crocodile disappeared. Is the Sand Crocodile, one of the Shichibukai, so vulnerable to Li Fan? Who the hell is that man? After Crocodile is dead, how can I see the hidden historical text of this country? Thinking of this, Nico Robin looked a little dazed. On the other hand, shortly after walking out of Crocodile's room, Li Fan took Tashiji directly back to Wangcheng through the portal. You are back, Your Excellency Li Fan. Cobra greeted Li Fan and Tashiji as soon as they appeared. Vivi followed closely behind Cobra. Crocodile has been taken care of by me. Senior agents of Baroque Works have also been contained. I think you can negotiate with the rebels. No one can trouble you anymore. Li Fan said. Is what you said true, Mr. Li Fan? Vivi stepped forward excitedly. You really defeated Crocodile. Well, more than just beating, he has completely disappeared from this world. Great! Vivi gave Li Fan a big hug. In Vivi's eyes, the current Li Fan is not scary at all. Her heart is full of desire to repay Li Fan. Father, that's great. Vivi turned to look at Cobra behind him. In this way, the civil strife in Alabasta will definitely be resolved. Cobra frowned, although he was very happy that the Alabasta crisis was resolved. But Crocodile's death was unexpected to Cobra. At the beginning, he thought that Li Fan would defeat Clactor at most, but he never thought that Li Fan would do so simply. Li Fan, if you directly killed Clactor, the world government may have a certain reaction. Hope you're ready. However, don't worry, I will do my best because you testified. Fan waved his hand. You can do whatever you want. And besides, where is Machida, who came back before me? Her words are now in the prison. Vivi leaned over and said with a smile on her face, but don't worry, Mr. Li Fan, we didn't put her in prison. Even though she did some bad things to Alabasta, I know she's your cast member. She's just talking to those Alabasta agents who are locked up right now. Li Fan nodded. Take me there, Princess Vivi. I still have something to ask Machida. Understood. Vivi smiled, turned around, and pulled Li Fan towards the prison. After Vivi and Li Fan left in 3.4, Cobra sighed deeply. Your name is Tashiji. I heard you were a Marine. About the Crocodile thing, you'll want to report it to Marine. Hearing this, Tashiji nodded. You needn't worry too much, King Cobra. About Clarkdal, it is true that he was at fault first. I will report to Marine properly. I believe they will understand Li Fan. Then, I will take my leave, King Cobra. After speaking, Tashiji walked aside. About Li Fan killing Clactor, she wants to find a quieter place to report to the Marine boss. Chapter 82, I want to join your team too on the empty street. Li Fan and Vivi walked slowly. Hey, Li Fan, what do you think of me? How about what? Just be an actor. Vivi looked at Li Fan with a smile on his face. Aren't you going to shoot a movie in Alabasta? Can I be your actor too? Can. Really? Vivi, who didn't expect Li Fan to agree so easily, was excited. This is a script. Please read it carefully first. and then I will audition for you. If you pass, you will be able to act. Thank you, Li Fan. Vivi happily took the script and flipped through it. Soon, she was attracted by the content inside. The two of them came to the location of the prison amidst the silence. At this moment, in the prison, the agents of the Baroque Work Agency are arguing fiercely with Machida. Miss Valentine, how dare you say you didn't do it on purpose? Miss Merry Christmas, a short and fat old woman 09, loudly reprimanded Machida. You take that BD skeleton to the spider bar and let him kill us all. That's it. Do you still want to say you were innocent? I didn't do it voluntarily. Machida yelled back, not to be outdone, and the fear around G-Fan during this time was completely vented. Do you know what I've been through these days? Mr. Five was killed, I was caught by that horrible guy, and I signed a contract that required 20 years of work. Do you know that if I really worked there for 20 years, my youth would be over? Facing Makida's rebuttal, Miss Merry Christmas didn't care at all. Just wait, Miss Valentine. Even if you say you were forced, it is true that you have betrayed the organization. Mr. knows and will never let you go. Even if we are all arrested now, MO will definitely send someone to kill you. Unfortunately, the MO you mentioned is no longer in this world. Suddenly, a voice that made the agents of the Baroque Work Agency shuddered. They looked in the direction of the sound, and they found that Fan was walking slowly towards this side. Li Fan. Seeing Li Fan walking in, Machida took a step back and made room for Li Fan. BD, UBD, I curse you. Seeing Li Fan walk in, Miss Merry Christmas became even more excited, and the obscene words couldn't stop coming out her mouth. It's so noisy. Li Fan pointed at Miss Merry Christmas. Also, I hate being insulted, especially now. Hellfire. A flame the size of a fingertip formed out of nowhere on Lin Fan's fingertips and slowly moved towards Miss Merry Christmas. Huh, what is this little flame? Miss Christmas frowned. Are you trying to scare me with this? It's ridiculous, haha. Stupid Miss Valentine, get out of the way. Sensing the danger, the experienced Mr. One yelled at Miss Merry Christmas loudly. However, it was too late. The black flame from the laughing fingers touched Miss Merry Christmas's body, and in a blink of an eye, it formed a flame that enveloped her whole body. In just a few seconds, Miss Merry Christmas was reduced to ashes. Miss Merry Christmas was easily beheaded by Li Fan, making other agents of the Baroque Work Agency who wanted to yell at Li Fan tightly shut their mouths. Machida. Yes, I'm here. Hearing Li Fan's call, Machida stood at attention, looking at Li Fan with sweat profusely. This is for you. Li Fan took out a script and handed it to Machida. It has been a few days since you signed a contract with me. It must have been well adapted to it. This script is the next scene I will shoot, and I have a role for you in it. You have to act well for me, you know? Yes, Master Li Fan, I will definitely act well. The death of Miss Merry Christmas gave Machida quite a stimulus. At this time, even if Li Fan asks her to do anything, Machida will be willing. Very good. Li Fan nodded. The character you're about to audition for is called Clementine, and she's an agile fighter. To be honest, when I first saw you, I thought your smile was very similar to Clementine. I hope you can play this role well. Yes, Master Li Fan, I will never let you down. Makita said with a serious face. Li Fan raised his hand and patted Makita on the shoulder amid Makita's frightened application. Li Fan could clearly feel her slight trembling when her hand touched Makita's shoulder. Don't worry, Machida. Since you've become my actor, I won't pursue what happened to you before. As long as you do what you should do well, I won't treat you badly. Saying 113, Li Fan let go of Machida and murmured at the same time. High-level item creation. A whole yellow wallet appeared in Li Fan's hands. This is a wallet similar to Clementine's, created by Li Fan based on his own impression of Clementine. It's just that compared to Clementine's original wallet, it's a lot more conservative. Machida, take this outfit back and try it on. This is the costume your character wears. If there is something inappropriate, bring it up later. Yes, Master Li Fan. Li Fan nodded. Then, let's go. Machida, those guys have nothing to do with you. Afterwards, focus on the script, you know? Facing Li Fan's words, Machida nodded heavily. Wait, Your Excellency Li Fan. Seeing that Li Fan was about to leave, Zala in the cell spoke. What's the matter with you? The corners of Zala's mouth curled up slightly and said, Your Excellency Li Fan, just now I heard Kita tell you about your deeds. So I thought, can you give me a chance to join your team too? Chapter 83. The Gather Marine Executives. Miss Fingers, are you going to betray Mr.? Hearing Zala's words, Mr. 1, the strong man whose original name was Das Bonus, asked dully. Mr. 1, unfortunately, MO is no longer here. This is equivalent to the fact that the group Baroque Works is no longer there. Then why should we work for him? Zala shook his head and continued. Rather than being locked here forever, it's better to go out and be an actor at least. You can still see the sky. That I think Mrs. Fingers are right. Miss Golden Week, the little girl formerly known as Marianu, said, I don't want to stay in a cell for the rest of my life. I want to go outside. Although that skeleton guy is very scary, the cell is even scarier. The skeleton guy you're talking about, do you mean me? Li Fan's voice suddenly sounded beside Marianu. Marianu's body froze, and he mechanically turned his head to look in the direction of the sound. Seeing that Li Fan was just outside the iron fence opposite him, Marianu immediately widened his eyes, and at the same time covered his mouth tightly with both hands. Li Fan, let's not talk about that woman over there. Why don't we release this little girl? Vivi came to Li Fan's side. Although she made a mistake, she is just a little girl after all. Taking this opportunity, we can change his values. What do you think? Li Fan nodded. Okay, just right. I'm still a little short of an actor for children. Since you want to, follow along. So what about the others? Li Fan looked up at the M. Lien, who had been silent ever since he said a word. M1 closed his eyes and rejected Li Fan with actions. I am willing, Mr. Li Fan. Let me be your actor. Mr. 3 said excitedly. Unfortunately, there is no one else. Li Fan directly ignored Mr. 3's guard, who was looking to the side. The guard nodded knowingly, walked over and took out the key to open the cell door, and opened the chains that bound Zala and Marianu. For Li Fan, Mr. 1 is a usable talent, and his taciturnity is quite suitable for certain roles. Likewise, Mr. 2 Bentham counts as one. It's just a pity that neither Mr. 1 nor Mr. 2 is interested in being Li Fan's actor. Come on, 2. I still need to talk to you about the two of you. Li Fan turned around and walked back in the direction he came from. Zala and Marianu glanced at their former colleagues in the cell and quickly followed Li Fan's pace. Zala, since you want to be my actor, you also need to sign a 20-year contract like Makita. It's a punishment for what you did, and the reward will be given to you, as usual, so that you won't have no money to use. Also, if you let me know that you use your own ability against other actors, I will kill you. As for Miss Golden Week, you're still young. Just follow me for 3 years. 17, after 3 years, you will be free. Hearing this, Marianu's small mouth couldn't help but curl up. For Zala, although Li Fan only used a flat tone, Zala has no doubt that Li Fan will do what he says. If she plans to deal with other actors, Li Fan will mercilessly make herself disappear. Understood, Li Fan. Zala nodded. Li Fan, what are you going to do about Mr. 1 in them? About this, you can ask Princess Vivi over here. Li Fan looked at Vivi. Their disposal will be decided by the king of this country. Hearing this, Zala couldn't help looking at Vivi. They did very bad things to Alabasta, so, according to the laws of this country, they will be sentenced to death, said Vivi. For any country, inciting the people to launch a rebellion is a serious crime. What Vivi said did not exceed Zala's estimate. But, after all, Zala doesn't want them to die just like that. Li Fan, if possible, can you not kill them? If you promise, I don't need a reward. Moreover, not just 20 years, I would like to stay by your side and work for you for the rest of my life. Zala said, I don't want to see them die either. Mariana looked up at Li Fan with a pitiful face. I don't need a salary, and I can work for you for a long time. And me, Li Fan, I could do it too. Makita gritted her teeth and said next to Li Fan, for the agents of the Baroque Work Agency, she still has a sense of guilt. Go and ask Cobra's forgiveness. If he is willing to execute them, I will naturally not trouble them again. Your behind-the-scenes boss, Crocodile, has been killed by me, and this matter is over. Li Fan said in a flat tone. Crocodile? Shichibukai. Zala and Mariano's eyes widened. As for the mysterious crocodile, Zala and Mariano have not been able to know his identity until now, until his death. Looking at the shock too, Vivi took the initiative to explain to them. On the other hand, Tashigi passed on the news about Li Fan killing Crocodile to Smoker. Because the matter was so important, Smoker directly applied for Tashigi's qualification to talk to Sengoku and asked Tashigi to tell Sengoku exactly what she saw. Soon, Tashigi's phone bug heard Sengoku's deep voice. "Hi, this is Sengoku. Marshal Sengoku. Hello, I'm Marine Staff Sergeant Tashigi. I won't say more, Tashigi. I heard from Smoker that Crocodile was killed by Li Fan. Please tell me the details." While speaking, Sengoku looked up and scanned the marshal's office. Here, in addition to Garp, who has not yet returned from vacation in East Blue, the 3rd Marine Admiral Akiji and others, as well as the Marine Chief Staff Officer Tsuru, and even the former Marine Admiral who has retired to the 2nd line, and the current Marine Chief Instructor Zephyr, have gathered here. Chapter 84, He May Be the King of the Undead. At Sengoku's request, Tashigi reported in detail about what Crocodile was doing in Alabasta. It also explained that Li Fan would deal with Crocodile on the premise of helping Alabasta, and in the end it was Crocodile's death. Is the Crocodile planning a rebellion in Alabasta? Sengoku muttered. For Crocodile, Sengoku still knows a lot about him. He fully believes Crocodile would do something like this if there were a huge incentive to do so. But he couldn't figure out what benefit there was in Alabasta worth Crocodile doing these things. Sengoku asked Tashigi, Li Fan, and Crocodile how they fought. Crane said, "No matter how this incident develops, it is necessary to learn more about Li Fan's personal ability." Tsuru's question was naturally heard by Tashigi on the other end of the phone. Soon, Tashigi reported the ability that Li Fan used when he came to Alabasta. Of course, Li Fan is not worried about his abilities being reported to Marine 783 by Dasiki. On the contrary, if the temporary template of Anzi Wurgong can make Marine feel afraid of his own strength, Li Fan would like to wish for it. Massive rainfall, lightning, black void. After listening to Tashigi's story, Tsuru frowned tightly. The ability to create swords out of thin air that Li Fan demonstrated before. No matter how you think about it, this is not Devil Fruit's ability. Well, Marshal Sengoku, although I have no evidence to prove Crocodile's conspiracy. However, I once saw Crocodile confess his plan to Li Fan and throw an olive branch to Li Fan. So, about Li Fan killing 7, can you not blame him for the Warlords of the Sea? Tashigi asked. Sergeant Tashigi, Marine cannot make a direct decision on this matter. Sengoku said, Crocodile is, after all, the 7 Warlords of the Sea recognized by the world government. This matter, after that, I will report to the 5 elders and let them decide. However, don't worry, I will seriously raise the opinions you raised to 5 elders. Thank you, Ajag, for this report. You should do your own work first. About Li Fan's next situation, I hope you can observe as much as possible. Now is a sensitive period, understand? Understood. Tashigi nodded emphatically. After hanging up the phone, Sengoku looked at Tsuru, who also frowned. Did Gion say anything about Li Fan? Crane shook his head. Unfortunately, Li Fan has informed me before. This time Li Fan did not bring Gion to find Crocodile trouble. Hearing this, Sengoku sighed. This is troublesome. It's hard for the world government to believe the words of just a Marine sergeant. In the death of a Shichibukai, the 5 elders will definitely pay attention to Li Fan. Why, this is something that can't be helped, Sengoku. He said, as for Li Fan, the world government will notice sooner or later. It's just that I didn't expect that Li Fan would appear in front of the world government in such a way. Hey, Marshal Sengoku, Tsuru Vice Admiral, should we pay more attention to Li Fan's current ability than Crocodile's death? Said Akiji, who was sitting on the side. Azine Siki said, that Fan has now become a skeleton, and with so many abilities, it's too strange, no matter how you say it. Crane on the side nodded, took Akiji's words, and said, Kazan is right. Fan's calendar is indeed very strange. Actually, I already have a bold guess about Li Fan's power. Hearing his words, everyone in the office focused their eyes on he. Actually, I've already heard the detailed content from Guillaume about the script, Overlord one, that Lee Fan plans to shoot this time. To be honest, Lee Fan's ability now shows a high degree of overlap with the character Anzi Ergon in the play. I have two guesses. One is that Lee Fan inherited Ain's Ulgaun's power in some way. Secondly, it is Lee Fan himself, the king of the undead who survived in ancient times, Anzi Wergon. And as Ain's Ergon, what he wants to do now is probably to tell his story to the world, so that people will fear him anew. Of course, the worst thing is that he will plan to rule the world just like the script. However, judging from the current situation of Lee Fan, it seems that he is just addicted to filming. The script that Lee Fan handed over to the actors is not the original script handed to Lee Fan by the system. The content inside is processed by Lee Fan himself. The protagonist Mamanga in the original book, later Ain's Ergon, traveled through the other world from another world through the game. In Lee Fan's modified script, Anzi Wergon was modified into the king of the undead in ancient times. The great underground tomb of Nazarick was the power established by Ainziel and other venerables. Later, for some reason, the great underground tomb of Nazarick sneaked into the ground. The venerables other than Ain's Ergon left due to mysterious reasons, leaving Ain's Ergon alone with all the guardians and other combat forces in the great underground tomb of Nazarick, who fell into a deep sleep. When times changed and Ain's Ulgon woke up again, the situation on the ground had changed greatly. With this as a starting point, the story of Ain's Ulgon officially began to unfold. The reason why Lee Fan made such changes is to prevent the natives from having the concept of traversing and guessing that Chu-Ji is not from this world. Similarly, it is also for some people who think they're smart to come up with the idea that there might be forces like the great underground tomb of Nazarick in this world. In this way, it can also explain to a certain extent the fact why Lee Fan possesses the power of Ain's Ulgaun. If people can mistakenly think that there is such a force as the great underground tomb of Nazarick behind them, Lee Fan would be even more wishful. Because of that, the forces in this world will be able to have certain concerns about themselves, thus providing certain convenience for themselves to shoot movies. Even if someone sends someone to test it, Lin Fa believes that with his and Medusa's abilities, it is enough to deal with it. And when other forces feel that they have been deceived and want to attack Lee Fan aggressively, Lee Fan believes that at that time, he already has the strength not to be afraid of any force. Chapter 85 to invite Lee Fan to become Shichibukai. Wait, Crane Vice Admiral. Anyway, this is unlikely. After hearing Crane's guess, Kazan spread his hands. Throughout history, there has never been any record of the figure of Ain's Wergon. Ji. Having said that, Kazan suddenly stopped talking. You must have thought of it, Kazan. Crane turned his head to look at Kazan. A blank 100-year history. We don't know anything about what happened in this period of history. Suppose the story described by Lee Fan happened in that blank 100 years. In this world, no ability appears out of thin air. At the end of the day, it all has its own source. If the power of the sword that Lee Fan showed before could be barely defined by Devil Fruit Dash, then the power he's showing now is hard to describe with Devil Fruit. So, I boldly speculate whether it is the power that exists in Fate Stay Night or the power that exists in Overlord, it may have appeared in history. At the same time, the stories depicted in those two stories may have actually happened. Of course, Lee Fan may have made some adaptations. The evidence is that Lee Fan once said that art comes from life, and the appearance of Medusa, as well as the power of Ain's Ergon that Lee Fan is showing now. In this world, creatures such as heroic spirits and undead kings may have appeared before. It's just that for some reason, these things have been covered up under the history of the Void Century, or even more ancient, so ancient that people have no recorded history. Hearing this, Sengoku frowned, tapping his fingers on the table unconsciously. It's a bold idea, but it cannot be directly denied. However, more evidence is needed to prove this idea. Also, there's another problem. Assuming that Lee Fan's films are all things that happened in the past, then why did he want to make these movies out of his heart? How did he learn about those stories? It's just like what Crane said, it's purely wanting to bring the stories that happened before to the screen. Still, At this point, Sengoku paused. I still want to tell the world about the blank 100-year history through movies. Hey, that's really dangerous. Kizaru Polisolino stroked his beard. If the goal is a blank 100-year history, then we should stop him. However, the problem is, even if he did film the story of the 100 years. But since we don't know the history of the 100 years, there is no way to judge. Perhaps it still needs to be judged by the world government. Sengoku nodded and said, at present, it seems that this is the only way to do it. Whether it's Crocodile or the movie, I will report to 5 elders together. Go and do your own business first. Next, I will communicate with the 5 elders. Hearing Sengoku's words, Tsuru and the others nodded, stood up from their seats, and left the marshal's office one by one. Sengoku looked at the phone bug in front of him, and, after organizing his words a little, he dialed the number in Mariehua. 5 elders. Hi, Sengoku, what's the matter? Soon, the call was connected. Inside, the voice of the blonde 5 elders in a suit came out. Actually, it's like this. Sengoku slowly recalled Crocodile's death and the cause. Afterwards, he explained in detail what he knew about Li Fan's abilities and the movies Li Fan had filmed. In Sengoku's view, if Li Fan's film is really related to that blank 100 years, 5 elders should respond. However, after listening to Sengoku's description in detail, the 5 elders did not show much reaction to Li Fan's film. Instead, he paid more attention to Crocodile's death. I didn't expect Crocodile to die like this. The blonde 5 elders murmured. After all, he's just a pirate. If he dies, he dies. However, correspondingly, Li Fan, who killed Crocodile for no reason, needs to give an explanation. Zero, seeking flowers. Sengoku, go invite that season to be Shichibukai. Since he can kill Crocodile, he also has the qualifications to become a Shichibukai. Hearing this, Sengoku frowned. However, that Li Fan is not a pirate, and Crocodile was killed by Li Fan because he wanted to cause civil strife in Alabasta. Sengoku. Before Sengoku could finish speaking, he was interrupted by the blonde 5 elders. Crocodile's crime, but also that Tashiji's one-sidedness, isn't it? Just this level, there is no way to prove anything. Saying that, the blonde 5 elders looked at the other 4-5 elders. The 4-5 elders nodded in agreement with the blonde 5 elders. In addition, Sengoku, why did the report on Li Fan come so late? You need to give a review. Blonde 5 elders continued. Since you already know about the Sword of Oath of Victory, the Sword of Deviation, etc., you should report to the world government as soon as possible, instead of delaying until now. Even if that Li Fan didn't really use the Sword of Oath of Victory and the Sword of Deviation to show the power to destroy the city, but when other powers appear, you should report to us. Sengoku fell silent after listening to the blonde 5 elders. For 5 elders' criticism, that's something Sengoku expected. At the beginning, Sengoku was worried that the world government would take some measures against Li Fan because of the description of the Sword of Vowed Victory and the Sword of Deviation in the story, and push Li Fan to the dark side, so he didn't report it. But after getting the latest news from Li Fan and listening to his analysis of Li Fan, Sengoku faintly feels that the Sword of Vowed Victory and the Sword of Deviation in Li Fan's hands may really have extremely strong destructive power. Sengoku still remembers in Smoker's report that Li Fan used to smash the waves with the wind on the Sword of Vowed Victory. If Li Fan knew what Sengoku was thinking at the moment, Rita would find it funny. After all, Li Fan no longer has the Sword of Oath of Victory and the Sword of Deviation on Li Fan. Several. Chapter 86 Maliciousness from 5 Elders. After hanging up the phone with Sengoku, the 5 Elders' discussions about Li Fan did not end. For those who know about the missing 100 years of history, they will not link the film story shot by Li Fan with this 100 years of history. However, it does not prevent them from being curious about the power displayed by Li Fan. The reason why the blonde 5 elders wanted Li Fan to become Shichibukai was to provide a rocker for discovering Li Fan's strength. After listening to Sengoku's report, there is also a bit of curiosity about the props that appear in Li Fan's movies, even 5 elders. Although they don't quite believe that those prop weapons really have such an exaggerated power. So, what kind of power do you think Li Fan displayed? Blonde Five Elders asked several other Five Elders. 880. If what Sengoku described is correct, then the power of Li Fan really doesn't look like the power brought by Devil Fruit. Five Elders said seriously with a knife. In the recorded Devil Fruit, there has never been any fruit that can match the power of Li Fan. Perhaps, if you want to understand his strength clearly, arresting him and torture him is the safest way. The problem is that Li Fan and Medusa are not weak. If they choose to escape, they may not be able to catch them in 10 minutes. The blonde Five Elders took over. At that time, he will officially stand on the opposite side of Marine and world government, and it will definitely be more difficult to catch. So, I mind, when Li Fan agrees to be Shichibukai, I invite him to Mariehua. With the strength of Mariehua, I must be able to catch him. The blonde Five Elders proposed to let Li Fan succeed Crocodile as Shichibukai, but of course they didn't really want Li Fan to become Shichibukai. With the mysterious power shown by Li Fan, the Five Elders, who are used to taking all kinds of unstable factors into their own hands, will naturally not let Li Fan sail on the sea. The once great scientist Vegapunk was controlled by the world government because the knowledge he possessed was too dangerous. Suffice it to say, whether Crocodile is innocent or not, the blonde Five Elders will ask Li Fan to be Shichibukai. But what if Li Fan doesn't accept becoming Shichibukai? The bearded Five Elders said, stroking his beard, when the time comes, should we send someone directly to arrest him? Naturally, Five Elders, holding a knife, said firmly, since there is considerable mystery in determining Li Fan's power, it must be held in the hands of the world government. Even if the ace of CP0 is dispatched, Li Fan must be arrested. While he is still in Alabasta, we should take this opportunity. Otherwise, it won't be so easy to catch him when he reaches the sea. Reconsideration. The blonde Five Elders nodded. Besides, considering that Li Fan has a Medusa who once defeated Hawkeye, I propose that if Li Fan refuses to be Shichibukai and comes to Mariehua, we not only need to send CP0's ace agent, but also let Marines send high-end combat forces to capture Li Fan. If necessary, even more force can be used to deter Li Fan. Hearing what the blonde Five Elders said, the other four Five Elders nodded in agreement. For too mysterious power, the Five Elders don't mind spending a little more power to capture it. Soon, the Five Elders' orders reached Sengoku. After accepting the Five Elders' order that no rebuttal was allowed, Sengoku only felt as big as a bull. Originally, it was going step by step, using Tashigi and Gion and Li Fan's team to slowly find out Li Fan's strength. Now, because of an order from the Five Elders, this move has been directly declared over. Shaking his head, Sengoku picked up the phone and dialed Tashigi in Alabasta. About Li Fan becoming Shichibukai, Sengoku wants to talk to Li Fan personally. In Sengoku's opinion, making Li Fan a Shichibukai would be a better choice than having to send Admiral to capture Li Fan later. After all, even though Li Fan is somewhat mysterious, what he has done so far is not evil. Hello, this is Tashigi. Is this Marshal Sengoku? Soon, Tashigi's voice rang out on the phone. Since reporting Crocodile's death to Sengoku, Tashigi has been unable to calm down. Even the script that Li Fan gave her, she couldn't read it. Tashigi is waiting for the decision of Marine and world government. If he can't get it today, Tashigi may not be able to sleep well tonight. Well, it's me, Tashigi. Listen, Tashigi, I want to be able to speak to Li Fan himself. Can you give a phone bug to Li Fan? Sengoku said, yes, Marshal Sengoku. I'm going to find Li Fan right now. Tashigi stood up quickly, walked out his room, and ran towards Li Fan's room. When she came to Li Fan's room, Li Fan was explaining the script and their roles to Zala, Marianu, and Vivi, who had just joined the crew. Apart from them in the room, Medusa was sitting at a desk beside her, quietly reading a book. What's the matter, Tashigi? You look flustered. Li Fan, who heard the footsteps, turned his head and asked suspiciously, Li Fan, Marshal Sengoku wants to talk to you. Tashigi walked up to Li Fan with a phone bug in his hand. His tone seemed a little hasty. Tashigi, who doesn't want anything to happen to Li Fan, is anxious to know what Sengoku will say to Li Fan. Is Marshal Sengoku of Marine? Li Fan took the phone bug into Tashigi's hand. I don't know how to deal with so many things. What can I do as a film director? This is our first call, Leaf Fan. Jean 2.8 said, speaking of which, I'm also very interested in your movies. It's just a pity that I haven't had the chance to watch your movies. If Marshal Sengoku allows, I can set up a movie theater at Naval Headquarters so you can watch my movies, said Leaf Fan. Naval Headquarters has a lot of Marines. If a movie theater can be established there, Leaf Fan can also gain a lot of box office points. What's more, with the movie theater built at Naval Headquarters, Leaf Fan doesn't have to worry about being damaged by pirates. I think that's a good proposal. Sengoku nodded. However, before again, I want to ask you a question, Leaf Fan. Would you like to take Crocodile's place as the new 7 Warlords of the Sea? I refuse. Without thinking, Leaf Fan directly rejected Sengoku. Chapter 87. Buster call out unbeknownst to Sengoku. 5 elders making Leaf Fan a Shichibukai was just a springboard. 5 elders just told Sengoku that if Leaf Fan is willing to become one of the Shichibukai, then Leaf Fan will not be held accountable. Otherwise, let Sengoku send someone to arrest Leaf Fan. But in Sengoku's heart, he didn't want to push Leaf Fan to the opposite. Therefore, making Leaf Fan a Shichibukai became the idea he wanted to achieve. However, reality gave Sengoku a relative answer. Leaf Fan rejected him without even thinking about it. Sengoku frowned and said in a serious tone, Leaf Fan, becoming a Shichibukai doesn't affect your career in making movies. On the contrary, after you become a Shichibukai, the Marine and world government will also give you a certain amount of support. Sengoku, I appreciate your kindness. However, my answer will not change. I don't want to be Shichibukai. Leaf Fan said, although becoming a Shichibukai does get a certain amount of Marine and world government support. However, I was also included in your camp. If, in the future, I go to the New World, to the territory of the 4 Emperors, can you still support me in 09? Probably not. Moreover, because of this Shichibukai's identity, I will be greatly hindered there. So, you guys should give up this idea. Hearing Leaf Fan's words, Sengoku's complexion gradually became gloomy. So, if you can continue your career in the territory of the 4 Emperors, but you cannot continue your career in the territory under the jurisdiction of Marine, how should you choose, Leaf Fan? Sengoku's words made Leaf Fan pause slightly. Sengoku, from what you said, it seems that I don't accept Shichibukai's position. So you're planning to attack me, right? Leaf Fan, I appreciate you. Sengoku said, however, you killed Crocodile, and the world government needs you to give an explanation. If you're willing to be a Shichibukai and go to Mariehua, it's fine. If you refuse, Sengoku didn't explain what he said next, but Leaf Fan guessed what he meant. In Sengoku's view, although what he did would make Fan Xin feel disgusted. For Sengoku, who had various speculations about Leaf Fan's power, he was unwilling to do so. But due to the order of the world government, he had to do so. On the side, Tashiji, who heard Sengoku's words, immediately became extremely nervous. Not only Tashiji, but Vivi and others in the room were also very nervous. Sorry, Marshal Sengoku. I have no intention of becoming a lackey of the world government. I'm also a proud person, and I don't like being called a running dog. Also, I want to tell you, Sengoku, I don't like to set up enemies at will, but if others regard me as an enemy, my counterattack will be very violent. I hope you can remember this. I still have something to do. Let's talk about it later. After speaking, Leaf Fan directly hung up the phone bug in his hand and handed the phone bug to Tashiji. Tashiji, the situation is such that if you want to withdraw from this show, you can do so now. I don't want anyone to quit during the official filming. Tashiji frowned and looked at Leaf Fan worriedly. Leaf Fan, and you can't be Shichibukai? No. Leaf Fan patted Tashiji on the shoulder. Everyone has their own path, Tashiji. I will not compromise on this matter. Hearing the determination in Leaf Fan's tone, although Tashiji was worried, he also knew that he could not change Leaf Fan's mind. Leaf Fan, I want to stay here. I will also play the role in this movie. Things haven't been fully settled yet. Maybe there will be a turning point later. Leaf Fan nodded and said, as you please, Tashiji. You are also tired today. Let's go back and rest first. Understood, Leaf Fan, Tashiji replied, turned around, and walked towards his room with a heavy back. Then 3, let's continue. Li Fan said to Vivi's master after Tashiji left. Concentrate and don't be disturbed by external affairs. The day after tomorrow at the latest, I hope Overlord 1 can officially start filming. In Li Fan's view, since the world government has shown its dissatisfaction with itself, Sengoku's tone is also full of warning. Then finish filming Overlord 1 as soon as possible and get high box office points to buy silver or gold scripts. And obtaining rare props or abilities from these two scripts has become an imminent thing. Although Ain's Ulgon's template was powerful enough, it had a time limit. Li Fan couldn't just rely on Ain's Ulgon's ability to fight against Marine and world government. Of course, Li Fan is also ready to teach Marine and world government a lesson within the time of using the Enzurgon template. Li Fan, is it really all right? Although Li Fan made him concentrate on watching the script, Vivi couldn't calm down no matter what. After all, Li Fan did it to help Alabasta. That's why Lei State became such a 64Q situation. Don't feel guilty, Vivi. The world government will notice me sooner or later. This time, it's just ahead of schedule. I hope that under the current circumstances, Alabasta will not forget his promise to me. Li Fan said indifferently. No, Li Fan. Vivi shook his head hastily. You helped Alabasta. What we promised to you, we will definitely do. That's good. Li Fan nodded slightly. If that's the case, let's continue. Under Li Fan's insistence, Vivi had no choice but to continue to study her own role. Zala and Marianu looked at each other, and they were both surprised by the eyes of each other. However, after hearing Li Fan's greeting, the two could only focus on the script and characters. On the other side, Naval Headquarters. After Li Fan hung up Sengoku's call, Sengoku reluctantly told 5 elders about Li Fan's decision. 5 elders immediately issued an order for Sengoku to send Admiral to capture Li Fan, and told Sengoku that the ace agent of CP0 would also accompany him. Soon, Admiral Akiji received the order from Sengoku and set off towards Alabasta. At the same time as Akiji, the Buster Call fleet was dispatched at the request of the 5 elders. Chapter 88, Building Alabasta's Cinema. The rain stopped, and Alabasta ushered in the sunshine again. Along with the sunshine comes the peace of Alabasta. In the end, under the strong insistence of King Cobra, under the escort of the kingdom's soldiers, he personally approached Kosha, the leader of the rebel army, to negotiate. After explaining the detailed situation, and even saying that if Koza is willing, Cobra himself is willing to hand over the king's position, just asking not to let Alabasta fall into war, Koza, who was moved by King Cobra's sincerity, believed Cobra Bra's words. Of course, the help of Princess Vivi is indispensable. After dismissing the rebel army, sent a man to King Cobra alone. Sorry, King Cobra, Your Royal Highness Princess Vivi, this time my behavior has caused trouble to everyone. No, it's not your fault, Koza. King Cobra shook his head. It's entirely because I, the king, failed to manage the country well. I need to take the main responsibility for this matter. Really, Father and Kosha, the rebellion is over. Let's focus on the future, Vivi said with a smile on his face. Also, don't forget, Father, what we promised to Li Fan. Now that the civil unrest has been resolved, it's time for us to start building a cinema for Li Fan as well. Hearing this, Cobra nodded. A total of 180 movie theaters need to be built in Alabasta, but it is a movie theater that can accommodate 2,000 people at one time, which is indeed a big project. There is no way around this, Father, Vivi said with a smile. Speaking of which, after all, Alabasta is a super populous country. Li Fan said that so many movie theaters are needed to allow everyone in Alabasta to watch movies in a short period of time. Furthermore, a movie theater with 2,000 people can guarantee a certain number of people without causing chaos due to the gathering of too many people. Therefore, Li Fan prefers to build a cinema that can accommodate 2,000 people. However, Li Fan also told me that it may take a long time from consideration to building a cinema. Therefore, Li Fan's first film in Alabasta will use 3 super large projection installations to project directly on the outskirts of the city. At that time, even people in a city will be able to see this movie. Although there is no guarantee that there will be a good viewing effect, It will allow everyone to enjoy Lee Fan's works faster. Hearing Vivi's words, Cobra and Kosha couldn't help but imagine the grand scene of tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of people watching the movie in the whole city. Anyway, Lee Fan has helped us a lot this time. Alabasta will help him build these 180 movie theaters for free. Cobra said with a smile. Vivi, things are over here too. You'd better go back quickly. Didn't you also play a small role in the movie shot by Lee Fan? Yeah, Vivi, you don't have to worry about things here. Kosha also said, Lee Fan is the benefactor of this country. He stopped me from doing things that I regret all my life. Although I really want to see him now. However, I thought it would be more appropriate to say my thanks to him after I helped build the 180 movie theaters. Your Majesty, please allow me to build a cinema together. As he spoke, Kosha turned his head to look at King Cobra with an extremely solemn expression. Of course, Koza. Cobra patted Koza on the shoulder. I will personally participate in the construction of the movie theater. Since you are willing, then come with me. Seeing the friendly picture of the two, Vivi couldn't help but smile. After confirming that the civil strife in Alabasta has been settled, Vivi, under the urging of Cobra and Kosha, boarded the duck and rushed towards Lee Fan's location. When Vivi rushed to Lee Fan's crew, Lee Fan had already finished the first scene. That is, Ains Ergon, the king of the undead, wakes up from his deep sleep and wakes up the sleeping guardians. In the clip, Ainzi Ergon is confirming the changes in the world, showing caution towards this new world. However, under the urging of the guardians, Ainsworgen finally issued a declaration that he would take the world into his hands. Thank you, Lee Fan. After seeing Lee Fan take off the dark black armor, Vivi immediately came up to him. You're back, Vivi. Lee Fan turned his head. Is the matter settled? Well, Koza and father have reconciled. They are now discussing how to build the movie theater you mentioned. Really, work hard for them. No, building a movie theater is nothing compared to what Lee Fan you did for Alabasta. Vivi shook her head and continued. In addition, Lee Fan, his father, is also actively communicating with Marine and world government. I believe that the Marine side will be able to understand the behavior in the future. We will always pay attention to Marine's movements, don't worry. After hearing Vivi's words, Lee Fan raised his hand and patted Vivi's shoulder. You don't have to worry about Marine. I'll take care of it myself. You also go to prepare. The next scene, you will appear soon. Vivi nodded, smiled, and went to get ready. You really killed Crocodile. At this time, Mihawk's voice came from the side. Are you surprised, Mihawk? Lee Fan turned around and faced Kai Mauchin. No, Crocodile's death is within my budget. Mihawk stepped forward. Zhao Hao Hao. I came to tell you that I plan to leave this country. Although I want to stay in this country for a while, my identity makes it inconvenient for me to get involved in the conflict between you and Marine. Regarding the falling out between Lee Fan and Marine, Lee Fan did not intend to hide his actor. What made Zhu Yun feel gratified is that even under such circumstances, the actors did not choose to leave, but insisted on finishing the filming of Overlord 1. Lee Fan also promised the actors that he would guarantee the safety of the actors. Mihawk heard about the conflict between Lee Fan and Marine from Zoro. I see, Mihawk. I hope you don't forget what you promised me. And then, when the time is right, play a role for me. Of course. Mihawk nodded slightly, turned around, and walked in the direction he came from. Chapter 89. Contradictions that cannot be peacefully mediated. TSK. This guy is leaving. On the side, Zoro in blue armor walked up to Lee Fan and said with a displeased face, What? Zoro, don't want him to leave. If that's the case, you can catch up. Lee Fan answered, Let's forget it. The current situation is the same as the past. It doesn't make any sense. Zoro shook his head. After fighting him, I fully understand the fact that I'm not his opponent. It's better to go to him after exercising for a while. Since I can learn something from you, I'll stay with you for a while longer. In this case, let's act well first. Lee Fan said, Maybe in the future, you may be able to get what you want from my drama. Hearing this, Zoro nodded and walked aside. Seeing Zoro leave, Gion, who was wearing a maid costume and playing the role of a fighting maid, came over. Lee Fan, are you really going to fight against Marine? It's not that I want to fight against Marine, Gion. The choice is with Marine, not me. My point of view is very clear. I just want to be a filmmaker. Li Fan looked up at Guion. His eyes glowed red flash. At this 770th moment, Li Fan naturally pays more attention to Momosaji Guion. Guion, what are you worried about? I'm just worried if we stand on the opposite side of Marine, will it affect the filming of the drama? Guion looked worried. If we really become like pirates, wouldn't it be a bit difficult for us to film in such an above-board manner? Maybe so, but I will try my best to avoid this situation. The corners of Li Fan's mouth were cracked, his expression slightly ferocious. Guion, tell me, if I show the strength to make Marine dare not attack me easily, will they be more concerned about me? This, Guion seemed a little embarrassed, not knowing how to answer Li Fan's question. Let's film well, Guion, while it's still calm. Saying this, Li Fan turned around and went to prepare for the next filming. Behind Li Fan, Guion sighed deeply. As Marine Vice Admiral, she naturally already knew about the plans of Marine and world government. 10 warships carrying 5 Marine Vice Admirals and thousands of Marine elites have set sail, along with Marine Admiral Akiji and CPO agents. Although he knew he couldn't change Li Fan's mind, Guion still wanted to try. It seems that this matter can no longer be changed. Then, my task is to cooperate with the Marines to learn more about the abilities of Li Fan and Medusa during this period of time. Although Guion proposed to let himself cooperate with the upcoming Marines to take action against G-Fan. But under Crane's insistence, Guion still can't reveal her identity, unless it is determined that her actions can bring enough effects. What are you thinking, Guion? Medusa's voice suddenly appeared beside Guion. Seeing the figure of Medusa, Guion's heart shuddered. For this woman who can defeat Mihawk, Guion has a lot of misgivings in his heart. No, Miss Medusa, I didn't think about anything. Ziyuan smiled and shook her head. Really, if this is the case, let's go, Li Fan is calling us. Saying that, Medusa walked towards Li Fan. Looking at Medusa's back, Guion's expression turned solemn and was covered by a smile in a blink of an eye. She took a step forward and followed Medusa's pace. The filming went very smoothly, and in less than half a month, the progress reached the plot of the battle between Anzi Ergon and the controlled Risha Bradfrin. Before the battle, Li Fan called the actor who played Shaltir Bradfrin. Your performances so far have been excellent. However, the following battle scene can be said to be the most exciting part of this movie, and it is also the breaking point in the play. Therefore, I plan to show the power of all kinds of magic, even super magic, in the following Ajak shots. And these forces are absolutely irresistible to you. So, wait for a lot of fighting shots. I plan to use a double to fight instead of you. Some scenes that don't have much danger, you can act in them, that's okay. Regarding Li Fan's decision, the actor who played Shaltir certainly nodded in agreement. It's just that she has more strength than ordinary people, but she doesn't think she can withstand Li Fan's strength. It has been proved in the shots taken before that Li Fan really can use all kinds of magic in various shots. The pothole that bombarded the ground told them that it wasn't fake. Faced with Li Fan's proposal, the actor had absolutely no reason to refuse. Very well then, let's shoot the shots that you can shoot first. Li Fan nodded and introduced his thoughts to the actors in detail. The actors understood quickly, and after a few minutes, they claimed to be able to shoot the shot Li Fan had planned. And the fact is indeed the case. Some conversations between Shaltir and Ains Woolgong, as well as some ordinary hand-to-hand combat collisions, the actors have passed through all at once. Just when Li Fan was planning to replace Shaltir with his armored necromancer substitute, Nico Robin came into Li Fan's sight. It's you, Nico Robin. What are you doing here? Hee, I heard that you were filming here, and I happen to be interested in this, so I came over to have a look. Nico Robin said with a smile. With the death of Crocodile and the downfall of top agents, Nico Robin missed disbanded Baroque works all Sunday. After that, Nico Robin did not leave this country, but looked for other possibilities to explore the historical text of this country. The target was placed on Li Fan. Originally, Nico Robin wanted to join Li Fan's crew and took the opportunity to look for opportunities. But because Li Fan has been changing the filming location, Nico Robin was not able to find Li Fan in the first place. By the way, Li Fan, if possible, let me work for you too. No, Tashigi was the first to stand up. Li Fan. This woman is a wanted criminal named by the world government. Now you'd better not have any contact with her. In Tashiji's view, Li Fan's current identity is already very sensitive. If Nico Robin is added to Li Fan's team, the conflict between Li Fan and Marine will become even more irreconcilable. What she didn't know was that the conflict between Li Fan and Marine had already reached the point where peaceful mediation was impossible. After all, the fleet carrying Marine Admiral and CP-0 Ace agents has come to the outskirts of Alabasta's territorial waters. Chapter 90 at the coast. Waiting for Marine's arrival, Li Fan, it's an emergency. Vivi quickly ran to Li Fan's side. My Lord Father called me just now, and he said that Marine's fleet is about to arrive in Alabasta. At their sailing speed, they can land within 40 minutes of sailing. Li Fan had conflicts with Marine because of saving Alabasta, and Cobra felt extremely guilty about this. Therefore, after finding that he could not stop Marine's arrival, he kept observing the coast and territorial waters of Alabasta Dash. In Cobra's view, if Marine really wants to attack Li Fan, at least give Li Fan enough time to escape the country. Li Fan, you should leave Alabasta first. This time the Marines sent a total of 10 Marine warships. With such a configuration, it is definitely not easy to deal with. As for the movie, we can figure out a way later. You'd better escape from here first. Vivi said worriedly. 10 Marine warships. Tashiji on the side widened his eyes. National Buster Call? Did Marshal Sengoku initiate a buster call to Li Fan? But how can this be? Tashiji was not informed about this, so she was very surprised. In her opinion, there is still the possibility of mediation between Li Fan and Marine, but the reality is so cruel. If Marine really initiates a buster call to Li Fan, it means that Marine will fight Li Fan forever. Nico Robin's eyes widened when he just came here, and the scene of facing Buster Call before was reproduced in his mind. That time, Buster Call's army launched an indiscriminate attack on her hometown, and she was the only one who survived on the whole island. Such a scene has been her nightmare for so many years. 10 Marine warships are indeed the standard for Buster Call. Li Fan nodded. Marine has used such power, which means that it has completely regarded me as an enemy. However, Buster Call, speaking of it, I am indeed in the category of devil now. Li Fan, aren't you worried? Marine is always approaching Alabasta. Vivi said anxiously. It's nothing, Vivi. Li Fan shook his head. It's better to say that it's just right for them to come now. It didn't come after I used super magic for filming. Hearing what Li Fan said, Tashiji looked at Li Fan worriedly. Li Fan, are you going to Tashiji, since Marine has sent so many troops, it's not good if I don't arrange some people to meet them. Li Fan raised his head slightly, and a wave of Peng Bai's magic power spread from his body, and then came it as a huge magic circle. This is the mysterious pattern from the last rainstorm? Guillaume suddenly had a bad premonition in his heart. Super-level magic, Heavenly Army is coming. While performing super-level magic, Li Fan took out a Krypton gold prop like an hourglass. After crushing the Krypton gold props, the super-level magic that originally needed to be delayed was activated instantly. In the open space behind Li Fan, a series of pure white space doors opened, and 6 high-ranking heavenly soldiers flew out from the space doors and gathered behind G-Fan. Although there are not many of them, anyone can tell that the existence behind Li Fan is definitely not someone to be messed with. This is natural, as an existence summoned by super-level magic in the world of Overlord. It is an existence that is 80 levels tall. Although the number is small, in Li Fan's opinion, it is enough to deal with a right buster call. Portal. A huge space door opened under Li Fan's magic power. Actors filming is now suspended. Everyone take a break for a while. After I finish solving the matter here, we will continue. After speaking, Li Fan stepped forward without hesitation and walked into the portal. The summoned beings followed. After Li Fan walked through the portal, the actors exchanged glances. Although he was a little worried, he followed Li Fan's words and took a rest on the spot. Marine warship, it seems very interesting. Zoro raised his mouth, took off his armor, picked up his long knife, and rushed into the portal without thinking. Zero, seeking flowers. After seeing Zoro enter the portal, The other actors hesitated a little and also went through the portal to the coast of Alabasta. For a while, except for Nico Robin, who had a deep shadow of Buster Call, who remained in place, everyone else came to Li Fan's side. "Follow me." Li Fan glanced at the crowd behind him. "Stand back. Don't get too close after all. You are just actors hired by me. It would be bad if the Marines thought you were with me and attacked you." Hearing that, except for Medusa and Tashigi, everyone backed away for a while. "Tashigi, what are you doing here?" Li Fan looked at Tashigi. If Li Fan still had flesh and blood at this time, he would definitely frown. "Li Fan, don't be impulsive, okay?" Tashigi gently pulled Li Fan's clothes. "If possible, can you talk to Marine first? I'll help explain. The premise is that they have something to talk about." Li Fan looked into the distance. "Well, but if they see that they can retreat under my military power, that's what I'd like to see." The next moment, Li Fan changed into the magic robe with the Ains Ulgaun logo. At the same time, the Great Emperor's undead skeleton sprang out from the ground. In front of Li Fan, the skeleton formed a ladder with its own body and formed a high platform, allowing Li Fan to step up. When seeing Medusa follow Li Fan, Tashigi hesitated a little, but also followed. "The way of the king, this is really majestic." Looking at Li Fan's back, the corners of Zoro's mouth cracked. This guy, although he often looks approachable, but now it really looks like the king of the undead in the script. Hearing Zoro's words, even people nodded involuntarily. Guion frowned, looking at Li Fan on the high platform and the heavenly army exuding a powerful aura around him. He couldn't help feeling strongly worried about the next situation. Chapter 91, Wishing on a Star. Shaltier's doll. 20 minutes later, Li Fan, who was sitting on the chair he took out, opened his eyes. "It's almost time. You can use the second super magic." Super level magic has powerful power, and it is extremely difficult to use it. It is already the limit for ordinary people to use it once. Moreover, it takes a certain amount of time to prepare for launching super magic. However, as a level 100 undead, Ains Ulgaun could use super level magic 4 times in one day. Li Fan, who has the template of Anzi Wurgong, can naturally do it too. Although super magic cannot be used continuously, it is still possible to use Krypton gold props to eliminate the time needed to prepare for using super magic. Now, the cooldown time of super magic has come, and Li Fan is also ready to implement the idea that came to him suddenly. Eternal Tribulation Snake Ring can activate the super magic. Wish on the Star. Li Fan looked down at the ring on his hand. Although it is a rare item, it is not a pity to use this ring as a temporary template. Although using this magic will lower the user's level, if you use props, you don't have to worry about this. Speaking of which, using this, can I really realize the idea I just thought of? Without thinking for a long time, Li Fan raised his hand into Shiji's eyes, and the next moment, a huge magic circle appeared. Super magic, Wish on the Stars, activate. In a burst of dazzling light, beside Li Fan, there was a petite woman in red armor. This person is Gentia," Tashigi yelled in disbelief. "Success." Li Fan raised his head, his eyes fixed on the guardian Shaltir who was summoned by him. Just now, Li Fan tried to use Wish on the Star to summon Shaltir. To his surprise, this wish was indeed realized. However, soon Li Fan noticed that something was wrong. In Shaltir's body, there is no existence beyond consciousness. After carefully checking Shaltir's information, Li Fan found that Shaltir at this moment is not the real Shaltir Bradfriend, but a puppet with the power of Shaltir Bradfriend. So that's the case. Even if I want to use the Wish on the Star ability to cheat, the system won't allow me to succeed. This kind of doll is probably the doll that appeared in the system mall. It has the power of the original owner, but does not have the consciousness of the original owner. Instead, it is based on the thinking program pointed out by the original owner's consciousness. Although it can theoretically have the same performance as the original owner, it is not a real emotion after all, but an action driven by the program. Nodding his head, Li Fan silently activated the Shaltir Bradfriend puppet he summoned in his heart. Shaltir's doll opened its eyes, smiled, and gave Li Fan a lady salute, then silently stood behind Li Fan. "Hey, look, the the person behind director Li Fan. That red armor. Could it be Shaltir himself? It's very likely that the people from Marine planned to trouble director Li Fan. So, director Li Fan spent a lot of effort to call Shantia himself. The actors talked a lot. Although they were surprised by Shaltir's appearance, they were more pleasantly surprised. For them, they also hope that Li Fan, who led them to make good movies, will have an accident. Oops, Guillaume frowned. If Li Fan Shaltir is real, then her combat power is absolutely terrifying. In the script, she is the one who can fight back and forth with Anzi Wergong. But if Li Fan could call her out, why didn't she call her out for the movie in the first place? Could it be that calling out the real Shaltir is a price for Li Fan to pay? Hey, Li Fan, is this really Miss Shaltir? Tashigi asked worriedly. Faced with Tashigi's question, Li Fan just looked into the distance and didn't answer her question. Looking at the silent Li Fan, Tashigi bit his lip and finally didn't say anything else, but stayed with Li Fan and waited for the arrival of the Marines. In this way, another 20 minutes or so passed. When the 10 warships arrived at the coast of Alabasta, what they saw was Li Fan sitting on the seat of bones and the people around him. Is that Li Fan? Standing on the bow of a warship, Akiji looked at Li Fan and frowned. It seems that he is already ready to face us. Even if you are prepared, it is futile to face our power. An agent wearing a CP0 special mask came to Akiji. Behind him, there were 2 agents wearing masks similar to his. They are agents sent by the 5 elders themselves. The CP0 agent at the head is the ace even among the CP0 with many masters. And even in the face of Marine Admiral, he still has the power to fight. And the 2 agents behind him are also elites, comparable in strength to Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral. In the eyes of the leading CP0 agent, even though Li Fan has some mysterious powers, it is still not enough in front of them. Let's go, Marine Admiral Akiji. Use your strength and mind to bring Li Fan into submission, CP0 agent said. Well, don't be so anxious. Akiji scratched his hair. Since that guy dares to wait here, he must have made a lot of preparations. 2.8. Before we start, let me ask Li Fan if he has changed his mind and plans to become Shichibukai. As soon as Akiji finished speaking, the clear sky suddenly became pitch black, and the sky with a radius of hundreds of meters was covered by billowing dark clouds. In the dark clouds, one by one was completely black, as if monsters made of many heads floated out, hanging above the Marines' heads. What's that? Akiji frowned. We are the servants of the Great and the Supreme. On behalf of the Great Supreme, I came to ask you, do you intend to regard the Supreme Being as an enemy? If so, we declare your death on behalf of the Supreme Being. The dark monsters spoke in turn. Chapter 92, come on. Stop him after the black monsters sent a notice to Marine. They all flew towards Li Fan. Shaltir, the puppet next to Li Fan, raised his hand and patted lightly, and all the black monsters disappeared without a trace. Only the sky above Marine and others still kept the appearance of billowing dark clouds. Is that Li Fan's ability? It is indeed a mysterious power that I have never seen before. Akiji muttered to himself. It's just pretending to be mysterious. Even if it has a little bit of power, it won't be our opponent. The leading CP0 agent glanced at Akiji. What? Do you want to continue persuading Li Fan? Akiji nodded and said, of course, although it is troublesome, it is important to try. Also, please don't underestimate Li Fan on the opposite side. Everyone in CP0. The Medusa next to him used mystical powers to defeat Mihawk. If possible, please try not to get too close to her, and try to use long-range attacks before finding out her strength. After finishing all this, Akiji took the microphone handed over by Marine and said to G. Fan in 2009, well, this is Marine Admiral Akiji. Li Fan, have you changed your mind about what Marshal Sengoku proposed to you before to become the 7 warlords of the sea? If there is, we can stop our attacks on you. Stupid. Li Fan shook his head. At this moment, he still wants to win me over. Marine is taking things for granted. Akiji, who didn't get the response he wanted, sighed. It seems that we can only speak with force. Akiji looked at the orderly behind him. Order everyone to fire. Try to aim at Li Fan and the people around him. so as not to hurt the people of Alabasta. Also, tell the Vice Admirals to keep an eye on Medusa while they're bombarding Li Fan. Don't be petrified by her mysterious petrification ability. The messenger who received the order quickly conveyed the order from Akiji to the various fleets. Because of the angle of view and because Tashigi was still wearing theater costumes, Akiji couldn't recognize Tashigi as Marine for a while. Seeing the 10 warships raising their turrets and aiming at this side, Tashigi anxiously jumped off the platform, made of skeletons, ran to the fleet, and spread his hands. Kazan Admiral, fellow Marines, I am Marine Staff Sergeant Tashigi. Li Fan really did nothing wrong. Crocodile really wanted to do something extremely bad to Alabasta. Please everyone. Fly finger pistol. Before Tashigi finished speaking, a sharp air wave shot out from CP0 agent's index finger and rushed straight to Tashigi's throat. Puff! A mouthful of blood spurted out from Tashigi's mouth. Tashigi looked in the direction of Marine in disbelief, and his body slowly fell to the ground. What a stubborn little girl. Li Fan, who was sitting on the high platform, shook her head, looked at the puppet Shaltir beside her. Zatia, bring her here. Yes, the Supreme Being. The figure of the puppet Shaltir disappeared from the high platform in an instant and appeared beside Insiki. Advanced teleportation. The puppet Shaltir put her hand on Tashigi, and in a blink of an eye, she appeared next to Li Fan again. Li Fan casually took out an HP potion from his space and handed it to Shaltir. Shaltir opened the cap of the potion bottle clearly and poured the HP potion into Tashigi's mouth. Although it was just a low-level HP potion, it just saved Tashigi's breath before she died. Looking at Tashigi, who fell into a coma, Li Fan shook his head and teleported her to Gion's position behind him. Li Fan believes that, as Gion, she will take good care of Tashigi. On the other side, Akiji frowned and grabbed the CP0 agent's hand. Just now, it was precisely because Akiji shot in time and slightly changed the attack route of Flying Finger Pistol that Tashigi did not die on the spot. CP0, that person just now was Marine. Why did you make a move? Agent CP0 shook off Akiji's hand. That Marine stood beside Li Fan and even defended him. I think her car has already betrayed Marine. Also, how long do we have to wait for the shelling? Do we have to wait until the other side launches the attack first? Hearing this, Akiji took a deep look at CP0, and in the end, he gave the order to shell. This is a helpless thing. Akiji knows that at the moment when he can't change Li Fan's will, fighting has become an inevitable thing. Boom, boom, boom. 10 Buster Call's warships fired their cannons. Not a simple matter. Looking at the oncoming shells, Li Fan has no doubts that this is the vitality that could destroy a small island. However, it's not enough to watch. Li Fan muttered to himself. As soon as Li Fan finished speaking, Shaltir came in front of Li Fan. As the dropper spear in Shaltir's hand swung forward, the huge air wave directly collided with the flying shells. 837, all of a sudden, flames scattered in the air. As it started, Gion, who bandaged Tashigi's wound, glanced at the direction of the battle. I don't want to get involved. Is it really okay, sister he? When Gion was worried, Li Fan had already stood up from his seat, looking at the cannonballs flying in the air, as well as Shaltir and Medusa who were holding the cannonballs for themselves. Li Fan opened his hands, but a huge blue and white demon spread out around his body. The cooling time is over. The time is just right. Today's third super magic. Li Fan stared ahead, and his chilly voice was transmitted to the Marines on the warship under the expansion of magic power. Unfortunately, you Marines, you have chosen the wrong path. Maybe some of you are not willing to attack us, but just follow orders. But since the attack was a fact, you are not innocent. You are obliged to accept my attack. That is, Akiji's eyes widened. Observation Haki gave him a very bad premonition. Stop him. Also feeling bad was the CP0 agent at the head, who immediately jumped up from the deck and rushed towards Li Fan on the moonwalk. Chapter 93 Super Magic sacrificed 10,000 Marines, although both Akiji and CP0 agents feel that before they have a good understanding of Li Fan and the abilities of those around him, is the most ideal way to use the shells of the warship to test. But in the face of Li Fan, who obviously wanted to release a dangerous move, the two couldn't care about anything else. Akiji, who jumped high in the air, stretched his right hand forward and aimed at Li Fan. Frozen time capsule. An invisible cold air burst out from Akiji's hands and rushed towards Li Fan. Akiji, who had heard Gion's report, guessed that what Li Fan is going to cast now is the super-level magic cast by Ainzi Ulgong in the play. For the safety of the Marines in the rear, Akiji felt it was his duty to stop Li Fan. On the other side, CP0 Agent Armament Hockey condensed on his right foot and kicked Li Fan hard with a huge slashing blast. Tempest Kick. Akiji's cold air and CP0 agents slashing airwave quickly approached Li Fan, but before they reached Li Fan, they were stopped by both Medusa and Shaltir. Then, although Akiji and CP0 agents wanted to bypass Medusa and Shaltir, Medusa did not give them this chance at all. At the same time, the celestial army summoned by Li Fan joined the battle, oppressing Akiji and the CP0 agent temporarily unable to take a step forward. The time is up. Let me see if Marine, who has no magic power, can survive this move. A dangerous red light flashed in Li Fan's eyes. Stand back, Shaltir, Medusa. At Li Fan's request, the figures of Shaltir and Medusa flashed, and they left the battle. At the same time, the combat power summoned by Li Fan also left the battle. It's not good. Seeing the people who had stopped in front of him leave, Akiji had a very bad feeling in his heart. Without thinking about it, he waved his hand and created a huge ice wall in front of him, blocking himself and the Marine behind him at the same time. Li Fan, super magic, sacrifice of dark Feng Rang. A layer of invisible air wave started from Li Fan, directly passed through the ice wall made by Akiji, and sent Marine behind him. All of a sudden, the entire Marine team was hit by Li Fan's magic. Akiji and CP0 agents frowned, fell from the sky, and returned to the deck of the warship. However, it was countless fallen Marines that led them in front of them. There was no breath, and it was obvious that they had lost their lives. On the deck, where Akiji and CP0 agents were, apart from the other two CP0 agents, only Marine Vice Admiral Stoloberry was still standing firmly. Soon, there were a few more people on the warship. They are 4 Marine Vice Admirals from other warships. What's going on? Kazan Admiral, what did that Li Fan do just now? It caused all the soldiers on my ship to die. The Ghost Spider Vice Admiral frowned. Are the soldiers on your side dead too? Akiji frowned and looked at the other 3 Marine Vice Admirals. Under Akiji's gaze, the 3 Vice Admirals practiced. TSK. Did that Li Fan actually kill tens of thousands of our Marine elite soldiers? Akiji clenched his fists. At this time, he looked at Li Fan with more hatred. This look, are you blaming me, Akiji? Li Fan cast the flying magic and the defensive magic, glorious emerald body, to fly to the high altitude of the warship, looking down at the remaining Akiji and others. Beside him, Shaltir, who was also flying, and Medusa, who summoned Pegasus, stood in front of him. And behind Li Fan, there are 6 celestial soldiers of level 80. You Marines sent people to attack me, so you should be prepared to be killed by me. Damn Li Fan. The angry ghost spider roared, wanting to attack Li Fan. At this moment, a black ball that appeared above the warship caught their attention. I forgot to tell you, the attack I just performed is not over yet. That's just a prelude. Those soldiers who died will be sacrificed as sacrifices. Afterwards, the black goat will appear. As soon as Li Fan finished speaking, the black sphere pierced through the ice that Akiji used to block it and fell on the deck. The black ball turned into a winter black liquid and spread towards the dead soldiers. In order to avoid being contacted by the mysterious liquid, Akiji and others chose to use moonwalk to come to the air. Li Fan, what the hell did you do? Akiji said, frowning. It's nothing. It's just an experiment. Experiment? You auditioned with Marine's life? Anyway, there are enemies standing on the opposite side of me. Why not do experiments? Li Fan tilted his head, stretched out his finger, and pointed down. Compared with this, why don't you take a good look at the bottom? Under Li Fan's signal, Akiji and others saw that all 10 warships had been covered with black liquid. Under this liquid, the corpses of the Marines were completely wiped out, leaving no trace, as if they had never appeared in this world. Then, from the black liquid, a tall black goat cub stood up. Is there only one? That's right. After all, it's only a sacrifice of 10,000 people. However, I don't know how you should deal with a black goat cub that has reached level 90 Marine. With a thought in Li Fan's mind, the black goat cub jumped and appeared in front of Marine and the others in the air at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, 10 tentacles of the TV University shot straight at the Ghost Spider Vice Admiral. BD, the Ghost Spider, Wang Liaohao, slashed at the tentacles of the black goat cub. In his opinion, his powerful blow can definitely cut off the tentacles. But contrary to expectations, the Ghost Spider Vice Admiral was directly wrapped tightly by the tentacles and was dragged towards the black goat cub's huge mouth. Ice Age, Akiji responded quickly, releasing cold air that directly froze the black goat, and Ping took advantage of this gap to rescue the Ghost Spider Vice Admiral. However, before they could feel relieved, the black goat cub shattered the ice and stretched out its touch to the Ghost Spider again. Akiji and the Ghost Spider quickly dodged the attack of the black goat cub. Aren't you afraid of my ice? Akiji widened his eyes. What he didn't know was that although the black goat cub had no special abilities, its stamina was outstanding, and it was simply impossible to defeat the black goat cub with a simple attack. Chapter 94 Bone King's special skills after repelling Akiji and the Ghost Spider. The black goat cub did not continue to chase, but came to him under the manipulation of Li Fan. Looking at Li Fan and the others in front of them, the expressions of Marine and the CPO agents became extremely solemn. Originally, according to their assumption, even if the vitality of Buster Call could not cause too much damage to Li Fan and others, it could still play a considerable role in restraining Li Fan and his group. However, what they didn't expect was that the tens of thousands of Marine soldiers on Buster Call were slaughtered by Li Fan in just an instant. And now it seems that the dead soldiers also helped Li Fan add a combat power. Akiji Admiral, the abilities shown by Li Fan are not in line with the abilities in the script we have her before. We have to be careful. Huashishin Vice Admiral walked to Akiji with an extremely serious tone. Yeah, Akiji nodded. The worst thing happened. This Li Fan can use the ability in the script. As described in the script, Ain's old gown possesses a lot of magic. What he's using now is probably the magical ability that 067 Ainzi Ulgon has mastered that hasn't been described in Overlore 1. Since the turret of the warship is no longer usable, then I will use my ability to restrain him remotely. Everyone must be careful of his strange abilities. Hearing this, the Vice Admirals nodded. On the other hand, while Akiji and others were discussing, Li Fan brought the dolls of Medusa and Shaltir in front of her. Medusa, Shaltir, go and get rid of that Akiji. By the way, just catch the living ones. Use your petrification to make him incapable of fighting Medusa. The two nodded and moved quickly. High-level teleportation. Before Akiji could use his fruit ability to attack Li Fan, Shaltir's figure suddenly appeared in front of Akiji. Fortunately, the excellent observation Haki allowed Akiji to predict Shaltir's arrival in time and build an ice shield in front of him in time so that he was not hit by Shaltir's dropper spear. However, Shaltir's powerful force still caused Akiji's body to fly backward. Since the power of Li Fan is real, then the power of Xia, Ajak, Taya should also really exist. That spear, my elementalization, may not be immune. The moment I get hit by that spear again, my physical strength should be weakened. Thoughts flashed through Akiji's mind, who was in the air. At this moment, an extremely fast figure broke into Akiji's observation, Haki's perception again. Akiji looked up and suddenly found that Medusa, riding a Pegasus, slammed into him fiercely. Boom! With a loud noise, Akiji's body, who had exchanged an attack with Medusa, flew towards the rear again, and there was the position of the sea. Akiji frowned, and when he wanted to use his steps to stabilize his figure, He used high-level teleportation to get rid of Shaltir from vice admirals and came to the top of Akiji and hit Akiji again. Although Akiji is an admiral, his strength is definitely not low, but under the attack of Medusa and Shaltir, he fell into a passive state for a while. Seeing that Akiji was trapped, the vice admirals immediately wanted to help. However, CPP agents stopped them. What do you mean, CP0? Huashishin Vice Admiral frowned, looking bored at the leading CP0 agent. Now that woman is being held back by Akiji, we should focus on dealing with Li Fan while taking advantage of this time, CP0 agent said. This is an opportunity, and in the name of the world government, I order you to attack me now. Hearing CP0's words, Marine Vice Admirals can naturally understand his purpose. Although he wants to support Akiji, at this moment, it is indeed more direct to capture G-Fan. However, when they attacked, 680-level heavenly troops summoned by Li Fan suddenly attacked the 5 Marine Vice Admirals and a relatively backward CP0 agent. For a while, only 2 agents of CP0 came to Li Fan. The leading CP0 agent just glanced behind him, then sped up his speed and launched an assault on Li Fan. The most powerful magic, rib bondage. Li Fan raised his hand, and huge bone spurs appeared around the 2 CPP agents out of thin air and pierced their bodies. Because the bone spur appeared too suddenly, the 2 did not choose to dodge, but used armament hockey to strengthen their defenses and forcibly blocked Li Fan's move. Hey, that's amazing. As expected of CP0, he can break my magic. Li Fan raised his head and moved his body back slightly, letting the black goat cub stand in front of him. The CP0 agent wanted to bypass the black goat cub and attack Li Fan directly, but he did not expect the black goat cub to move very quickly. With Li Fan's magical cooperation, the 2 were unable to successfully break through the black goat cub. The leading agent is obviously much stronger than the following agents. It can also cause obvious damage to the 90-level black goat cub. If you give him a little more time, he should be able to defeat the black goat cub. It's amazing the world government is really Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but I don't know how many such existences there are in the world government. Li Fan nodded secretly and glanced at Akiji and Marine Vice Admiral who were fighting in the distance. Used to threaten the existence of Marine, it is enough to leave only Akiji and Marine Vice Admiral. If you too, you should die here. With a thought, Li Fan opened his hands and a cold breath spread from his body. Special skills. Death is the end of all life. Accompanied by Li Fan's words, a golden clock phantom appeared behind Li Fan. Expand the scope of the magic effect. Banshee cries. An ear-piercing sound came from Li Fan, and the resulting sound wave directly enveloped the 2 CP0 agents who were closer to Li Fan. That is, the eyes of the 2 CP0 agents who were struggling to break through the black goat cubs widened. Looking at the constantly moving hands on the clock behind Li Fan, an extremely bad feeling enveloped their hearts. Li Fan parted his lips and looked at the 2 CP0 agents mockingly. With the pointer behind him about to return to 0 rank, Li Fan dispersed the black goat cubs, allowing 2 Zero agents to approach him. That's it, you two, and farewell. Looking at the CP0 agent who was infinitely close to him, Li Fan muttered. The next moment, a dazzling light enveloped Li Fan's 100-meter radius. Chapter 95 Guion. I know you are Marine, that is. The blinding light caused the Marine Vice Admirals who were fighting the Celestial Army to cast their gazes in the direction of Li Fan. It's just that when they saw the dead space around Li Fan, their expressions became more gloomy. Damn it, have those 2 CP0 agents been killed? Huashishin Vice Admiral frowned. How about Akiji Admiral? As soon as Huashishin Vice Admiral finished speaking, Shaltir appeared next to Li Fan with the stone statue of Akiji. No way. Is Akiji Admiral also defeated? Seeing the stone statue of Akiji, the remaining 6 people who were still fighting couldn't stop their hearts from beating wildly. The 2 most important people in this operation are Marines Akiji Admiral and CP0's Ace Agent. Now that both of them have lost, the Marine Vice Admirals are more dignified than ever before. What's the matter, everyone? Are you so surprised to see your comrades defeated? Li Fan flew over the Marine vice admirals, snapped his fingers lightly, and the celestial army dissipated automatically. Li Fan, what on earth do you want to do? Mole Vice Admiral stepped forward, looking directly at Li Fan. What are you doing? Your question is really strange, Marine. Li Fan tilted his head. What I did was just a fight back, wasn't it? Although I want to ask you how you feel when you witness the ability to grant death given to the undead. It seems that you don't have such thoughts. Next, I will trouble you guys to stay with me for a while. Damn it, don't even think about it. The Ghost Spider Vice Admiral stomped on the ground with both feet, using the counterforce to rush towards Li Fan. Even if you're going to die, don't try to scare me. Medusa, Li Fan whispered. The next moment, Medusa appeared in front of Li Fan. At this moment, Medusa's blindfold has long been untied. The 5 Marine Vice Admirals and 1 CP0 agent who watched Medusa's petrified, I turned into stone statues in an instant. Oops, Marine failed. Guillaume clenched his fists and looked at Li Fan's back with complicated eyes. Guillaume, who has seen Li Fan's power, knows that even if he steps forward to stop him at this moment, it will only add another loser. Therefore, he had to grit his teeth and stare at Li Fan's situation as if nothing happened. On Li Fan's side, after the rest of the people turned into stone statues, they canceled the flying magic and landed on the ground. This, no need. Li Fan glanced at the remaining stone statue of a CP0 agent, stretched out his hand, and crushed his head. These 5 are useful and can be taken back. Glancing at the stone statues of the Marine Vice Admirals, Li Fan summoned a few skeleton soldiers and carried the stone statues of the Marine Vice Admirals and Akiji towards the crowd watching in the distance. Guillaume, Tashiji is all right. Li Fan came to Guillaume and glanced at Inshiji, who seemed a little sluggish. The wound has been treated, and then you just need a rest. That's good. After she recovers, tell her for me that if she wants to leave, I won't stop her. At this moment, Li Fan has completely broken with Marine. At this moment, Li Fan doesn't expect to keep Tashiji by his side anymore. Since Tashiji is inconvenient right now, it's up to you to contact Sengokuba for me. Huh? Hearing Li Fan's words, Guillaume froze for a moment. Li Fan, I don't quite understand what you mean. Marine Vice Admiral Guillaume, Admiral's candidate, Crane Vice Admiral's sister. Do you want me to continue talking, Guillaume? Li Fan muttered, looking directly at Guillaume with red eyes shining. People around were stunned when they heard Guillaume's identity, but they left Guillaume in an instant. When did you start to know my identity, Li Fan? Guillaume sighed. Being called out by Li Fan so accurately, Guillaume couldn't keep pretending. I knew it from the beginning, Guillaume. Although you're not as famous as Marine Admiral, but coincidentally, I still know your identity. Guillaume shook his head with a wry smile and looked at Li Fan with a complicated expression. She thought that she could gain the trust of Li Fan through her acting skills and learn about Li Fan's mysterious power from him. Unexpectedly, Li Fan saw her identity from the very beginning. Since you knew my identity from the beginning, why didn't you expose me? Guillaume said, although I know you are from Marine and I were not enemies at that time. In addition to your good conditions, I think you should be able to play some special roles in the future, so I accepted you. Li Fan said, Zoro, seeking flowers. Although I know what your purpose is, I have no intention of standing on the opposite side of Marine, so I will do whatever I want. However, although I didn't intend to stand against Marine, it's a pity that Marine took the initiative to stand against me. In this way, there is no need for me to keep you by my side. In fact, the main reason is that Li Fan's current power has not yet reached the point where he can ignore Marine and world government. Although Ainz Ulgaun's power was very strong, it was only a temporary power. Before obtaining enough power to make him feel at ease, Li Fan has no reason to let a spy who has already stood against him stay in his team. Maybe he can be temporarily allowed to join in the filming of the film, but it must not be allowed to have the opportunity to stay by my side all the time. Li Fan believes that before Marine and CP0 came to Alabasta, they probably already knew about the character of Anzergaon and their possible abilities. After that, you can find a suitable time to leave. Of course, you have to wait until your part is over. In addition, I will also teach you about the reward promised to you. After speaking, Li Fan opened a portal on him. Okay, everyone, the matter here has been resolved. Let's go back to the place just now and continue the next filming. Guion, you follow up too? When you get there, you should contact Marine and the others. After hearing Li Fan's words, everyone followed Li Fan's footsteps and passed through the portal. After Li Fan and others left, a man dressed as a traveler with a camera came out from behind a small hillside. It's great. I just came to Alabasta for vacation, and I didn't expect to shoot such amazing footage. If I organize these photos and send them to the president of Morgan's, he will definitely give me a promotion. Chapter 96, the big news that shocked Morgan's new world, some island. This is the headquarters of the Mogo's news agency. A large number of excellent journalists will come and go here, bringing first-hand important news to the news agency. On this day, Morgan's rested in his office as usual. Boo 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 boo. The phone bug placed in front of Morgan's desk suddenly rang. Hello, this is Morgan's. Morgan's picked up the phone. Hi, Boss Morgan's, this is Darius. Darius, aren't you going to Alabasta for vacation now? What's the matter? Morgan's asked curiously. Big news, Boss Morgan's, the reporter named Darius said excitedly. I saw Marine dispatch 10 warships to Alabasta in Alabasta. Also, there are Marine Admiral Akiji inside, and 3 men wearing masks who seem to be from the world government. They fought here, and at the end of the battle, 350 Marine Admiral and several Marine Vice Admirals were petrified. Tens of thousands of Marine deaths are the result. What? Morgan stood up excitedly from his seat. Is what you said true? Did you take any pictures? Of course. I've almost run out of film on my camera, says Darius. Plus, I've already written the script. Great. Hurry up and send me your manuscript and photos. I want to report this news as soon as possible. Morgan's eyes flashed. As one of the kings of the dark world, he naturally knew what 10 Marine warships represented, let alone people from Marine Admiral and world government among them. However, such combat power was eventually defeated. If Marine's opponent is changed to 4 emperors, Morgause can still understand. But in the country of Alabasta, Morgan's doesn't have any strong characters. Now, he really wants to find out what kind of person defeated Akiji and the others. It didn't take long for Morgan's to have manuscripts and photos sent by Darius. Dallasai's manuscript is very detailed, and even Tashiji, who is a Marine, stopped in front of the warship, but was eventually injured by CP0 agents. Morgause, who was reading one's manuscript, took a deep breath and cast his eyes on Li Fan's photo. A skeleton wearing a black robe, who can use mysterious power to defeat Marine, is simply the king of the undead. And this woman riding a Pegasus, she is the one who petrified the Marine Vice Admirals and Akiji Admiral. Although Akiji was petrified with the help of this woman in red armor named Shaltir, it is still very remarkable. Hee, I really look forward to the reaction of Marine and world government. Morgan's picked up the photos and a manuscript and walked out of his office quickly. He wanted to put this news in the newspaper immediately. He believed that such explosive news would definitely attract quite a lot of people's attention. At this moment, Naval Headquarters inside the Marshal's office. Sengoku and Tsuru are anxiously awaiting the outcome of the Alabasta incident. Boo 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 boo. Hi, this is Sengoku. As soon as the phone rang, Sengoku couldn't wait to answer the call. Marshal Sengoku, it's me, Guion. Guion. Tsuru stood up from his seat and walked to Sengoku's side. Guion, how is the situation on your side? Is Akiji's operation going well? Guion, is there a problem? Guion's silence gave Sengoku a bad feeling. Could it be that the operation failed? Marshal Sengoku, unfortunately, the actions of Marine and world government have failed. Guion glanced at Li Fan, who was sitting next to him, and continued after seeing that he did not stop him. Except for Akiji Admiral and the 5 Vice Admirals, the CPO agents, and the rest of the Marine. All wiped out. What? Sengoku stood up excitedly. How could this happen? How about Akiji? Since you reported it, did he get injured and unconscious? Akiji Admiral and 5 Vice Admirals were petrified by my partner and are now my prisoners. A voice very familiar to Sengoku came from the phone. You are Li Fan. Sengoku widened his eyes. But why did you appear at this time? Could it be that? It's strange, Sengoku. Why did I talk to you through this phone bug when Guion was reporting to you? Li Fan said. Don't worry, Sengoku. Although Gion is also a Marine, she didn't make a move, so I don't plan to make a move on her either. Besides, she's still my employee now. Logically speaking, I still have the obligation to protect her, let alone take action against her. Hearing this, Sengoku fell into silence. Tens of thousands of elite Marines were killed. Although Akiji and 5 Marine vice admirals were still alive, there were also Li Fan's captives when they were petrified. In addition to the exposure of Gion's identity, this means that Marine will not be able to obtain any information that is effective for the mission from Li Fan's side. Angry Sengoku smashed the desk in front of him with a slap. Zero, Li Fan. What do you want? Sengoku asked in a low tone. I should ask you this question, Sengoku. Li Fan tilted his head. Don't forget, it was you who created the current situation. Originally, I personally have a lot of goodwill towards you. I even allowed you Marine to stay by my side, one in the light and the other in the dark. However, you failed my kindness and even sent a Buster Call warship to me. In a situation like this, I feel like I'm just fighting back legitimately. Don't I, Sengoku? Also, can I ask you, how do you think I should treat Akiji and the others? Li Fan's calm words revealed a very dangerous meaning. Sengoku and Crane looked at each other. They knew that at this time it is possible to say a wrong sentence. Then Marine will lose 10 Marine admirals and 5 Naval Headquarters vice admirals. And this will be a huge blow to Marine. Let's not talk about what the 4 emperors will do. At least if this matter gets out, it will definitely make those pirates even more lawless. What's more, now Marine has to face the situation of one more terrible enemy. Li Fan, what do you want? After a long silence, Sengoku tried to speak in a calm tone. Faced with Sengoku's question, Fan shook his head. My request is very simple. I just want to develop my film career quietly. Marshal Sengoku, what do you think I should do to achieve my goal? All I can think of now is to simply kill you guys from Marine and world government. 2.9. I don't know, what do you think of my proposal? After all, if I don't tell you to exclude it, the movie theaters I build around the world will not be safe. Hearing Li Fan's dangerous words, Sengoku's face became more gloomy. Li Fan, if I promise you that I won't take action on the movie theaters you build everywhere, will you let Akiji go? Hey, what you said is interesting, Sengoku. Li Fan said with great interest. After this incident, I might be on your reward list. Would you be kind enough to maintain a bounty industry? Also, will the world government allow your actions? Li Fan, why don't you let me stay as a hostage? Gion seemed to have made a decision. Looking directly at Li Fan, you let Akiji Admiral and the others go. If Marine can't meet your requirements, I can do whatever I want. At your disposal. Chapter 97. High reward, Gon. What are you talking about? I don't allow you to do this. Just after Gion finished speaking, Saru said loudly to the phone bug. Sister He, this is the best way. Gion smiled bitterly. If Akiji Admiral and Huashishin Vice Admiral cannot go back, it will be a huge loss to Marine. Gion, you should understand what you're talking about. Li Fan said seriously. Even if Sengoku and the others are really willing to do that, what should they do if they encounter a strong order from the world government? Even if you don't want to, you will definitely attack my movie theater. That way, you should know what's going on with you. I don't think the world government will give me a break just because you are a Marine Admiral candidate. Hearing Li Fan's words, both Gion, Sengoku, and Crane in Naval Headquarters fell silent. Indeed, if the world government really wanted to crack down on Li Fan, even if they didn't want him, Marine couldn't resist. Let's stop here first. Sengoku, after you finish communicating with World Government 09, call me again. Of course, I also very much welcome you to continue to send Admiral over. Speaking of which, next time it will be Sakazuki or Polisolino. I'm really looking forward to it. After speaking, Li Fan hung up the phone without hesitation. Let's go, Gion, before Sengoku and the world government can negotiate a good takeover. Let's finish the rest of the filming first. Li Fan stood up and said to Gion. On the other side, Naval Headquarters, after Li Fan hung up the phone, Sengoku called 5 elders immediately. Hello, it's Sengoku. The voice of the blonde 5 elders came from a phone. Are you here to report a mission failure? Huh? Sengoku was taken aback. You already know? Yeah, I already know, except for Marine Admiral Akiji and a few Naval Headquarters Vice Admirals. All the others died, right? 5 elders tapped on the table in a tone that made it hard to tell if they were angry. That guy Morgans already knows about this. In some islands of the New World, newspapers describing this incident have appeared. About the content of the newspaper in New World, the agents of the world government have already reported it to me. In the newspaper, how you failed is clearly described. Sengoku, this time, Marine and world government are quite embarrassing. Really, even the newspapers have already reported it. Sengoku frowned. In this way, people all over the world will know about this matter sooner or later. Send a wanted warrant, Sengoku, said the blonde 5 elders. The strength of this group, even the 4 Emperors pirate group, can challenge it. We have already discussed, Li Fan, the king of the undead, has a bounty of 400 billion berry. Heroic Spirit Medusa, offering a reward of 2 billion berry. Allah Shaltir Bradfriend has offered a reward of 1.5 billion berry. And Tashiji, the marine trader who blocked Buster Call's launch, offered a reward of 20 million berry. Hearing what the blonde 5 elders said, Sengoku was taken aback. Tashiji is a marine trader? Is this a mistake? Sengoku, whether she intended it or not, she did stand in front of the Marines in this battle. Such behavior is a mistake. The blonde 5 elders said in an extremely serious tone. Even, it may be because of her that the war opportunity was delayed, which made this operation fail. So, her reward is inevitable. You can't interfere with this. Hearing this, Sengoku clenched his fists. What about Kazan and the 5 petrified Naval Headquarters Vice Admirals? Sengoku said, after taking a deep breath. This is something you should consider, Sengoku. I talked with Li Fan on the phone before. Sengoku said, I made a condition of not destroying or interfering with his establishment of the cinema, and hoped that he would let Kazan and them go. Sengoku, are you asking us to protect criminal property? I think it will be beneficial to do so, Lord 5 Elders. After a pause, Sengoku continued. That Li Fan has powerful and mysterious abilities. And the abilities that appear in that guy's movies can often be displayed by himself. In other words, we were able to analyze his abilities through the films he shot. Now, there are too many pirates in the world, and there are 4 emperors in New World. When we don't know enough about Li Fan's ability, we shouldn't take action against Li Fan and his group. After all, we still don't know whether there are other powerful partners behind Li Fan. Now, Gion's identity has also been exposed, and it is very likely that he will no longer be able to obtain information from Li Fan. Sengoku is not speculating out of thin air. Since Medusa appeared beside Li Fan, he often speculates whether there are other partners around Li Fan. When he heard the reward offered by Shaldir 293 Bradfriend from 5 Elders, he became even more certain of his thoughts. Well, what you said has some truth. It is indeed a good idea if you can get Akiji back and get information about Li Fan without destroying Li Fan's movie theater. The blonde 5 Elders nodded. Well, I agree with your decision. However, when issuing the reward order, we will promote Li Fan as an existence that can match or even surpass the 4 emperors. Although you don't want to let go before you get the information. But at least the 4 emperors or other powerful people can go find their troubles. After explaining, the blonde 5 Elders hung up the phone in his hand. After receiving support from 5 Elders, Sengoku immediately called Gion and expressed his desire to chat with Li Fan. I don't want to speak to the Marine or the world government just yet, Gion. Li Fan waved his hand. Let's put things about Akiji and the others behind for now. The filming has been delayed for a long time, and I hope to finish filming today. Tell Sengoku that when I feel in the mood, I will take the initiative to contact him. Chapter 98. Shaltir's whereabouts are a secret. The shooting of the battle scene between Anzergon and Shaltir went very smoothly. Because of Shaltir's puppet, Li Fan can freely show his abilities when filming battle scenes. The scenes of the battle are over in one shot. Not long after shooting the battle scene, the Shaltir doll summoned by Li Fan using Wish on the Star expired. After bowing deeply to Li Fan, Shaltir's puppet turned into a white light and dissipated. Then, Li Fan took advantage of the momentum and shot the rest of the shots in one go. Overlord 1. officially ushered in the finalization. Phew, the filming is finally complete. Li Fan, who had returned to his previous appearance, stretched. Because of the finalization of the movie, the period of use of the Anzi Wurgong template has also come to an end. Everyone, please look here. Li Fan clapped his hands, drawing the eyes of the actors to himself. Thank you all for accompanying me to complete this work. It's already very late today, so I decided to officially start showing the movie tomorrow. Because Alabasta has a large area, this time it will use a super large screen for projection viewing. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, the first movie will be shown. Everyone, please come on time. Now everyone has come to collect their rewards, and then they can go back to rest. Hearing Li Fan's words, the actors gathered around one after another, and among them, Nami was the fastest. After receiving the box full of 10 million berry from Li Fan, Nami ran to the corner to count the bills. Soon, in a short while, Li Fan lost 64 million berry from the money in his hands. And in the starting hand, there are only 15 million berry left. Originally, Li Fan thought about being able to receive Crocodile's bounty, but later confronted with Marine, Li Fan had to give up this idea. To Shiji, Guion, this is the reward for the two of you. Li Fan turned around, walked to Tashiji and Guion who were sitting together, and handed the small boxes containing 1 million berry and 3 million berry to them respectively. Because of their marine identities, the entire cast now keeps Tashiji and Guion at a distance. The actors didn't hate them. They just chose to stand on Li Fan's side. Because in their view, what Marine did to Li Fan was simply wrong. Having been with Li Fan for a long time, they know that although Li Fan has great strength, he is actually a very easy person to get along with. Thank you, Li Fan. Guion smiled forcefully, took the boxes from Li Fan's hand, and put one of the boxes into Shiji's hand. Sure enough, it's more comfortable to look at you now. Your appearance as the king of the undead before was a little too scary. Li Fan shrugged. I don't think that appearance can scare you. Tashiji, are your injuries all right? Li Fan asked Tashiji. Tashiji raised his hand to touch his wound. It's much better, Li Fan. Thank you for treating me. Well, since it's okay, I'll go first. After saying that, Li Fan turned around and wanted to leave. Wait, Li Fan. Tashiji stood up and took Li Fan's hand. Do you really want to kill all Marines like you said? Hearing this, Fan turned his head and took a deep look at Tashiji, who looked at him with an extremely sad expression. Li Fan shook his head, reaching out to stroke Tashiji's black hair. I wouldn't want to do that if I could, Tashiji. If Marine doesn't take action against me in the future, I won't act casually either, don't worry. Then, let's pull the hook. Tashiji stretched out his right little finger. You have to promise me that you will do what you say. Are you a little girl? Li Fan sighed. Looking at the heroine of my first play, it would be a lie to say that I have no pity. After a slight pause, Tashiji was even on the verge of tears. Seeing this, Li Fan stretched out his little finger of his right hand and put it on Tashiji's little finger. Tashiji, pull the hook, hang yourself, and you can't change it for 100 years. It's all right now, Tashiji. Li Fan said a little carelessly. Well, thank you, Li Fan. Finally, Tashiji smiled again. Seeing Tashiji wiping his tears with his hands while giggling, Li Fan couldn't say anything. If Marine still attacks me, I will also retaliate. And for the world government that led this operation, my revenge will be even more violent. After thinking about it, Li Fan finally decided to keep these words in his heart. At least for a short time, you don't have to worry too much, Tashiji. Now I still need to reserve strength. Li Fan stretched out his hand to help Tashiji dry his tears, thinking silently in his heart. On the side, after hearing Li Fan's answer, Guion also breathed a sigh of relief. In Guion's heart, he really doesn't want to put Marine's combat power on a powerful friend who could have been Marine, Wong Wong's. It is rare that Guion has a very strong dissatisfaction with the world government. For Li Fan, Guion feels very complicated. On the one hand, Li Fan killed quite a few Marines, which made her angry. On the other hand, Li Fan is just fighting back. As Li Fan said, it is impossible for him to do nothing in the face of Marine's attack. And this made Guion feel a little guilty. Shaking his head, Guion got up and walked to Li Fan and said with a smile on his face, Director Li Fan, Congratulations on the completion of your new movie. I didn't see Miss Shaltier. Did she leave for something? Hearing this, the corners of Li Fan's mouth curled up slightly. Sorry, Guillaume, this is a secret. Li Fan stretched out his hand in front of his mouth and said softly, Chapter 99, 10 billions of wealth. Here, this is the reward for the three of you. Li Fan walked up to Makita, Zala, and Maria Nu and handed over the reward to them. Makita, although it's your first time acting, but because you are very similar to the character, you played well. Plus, your character has a fair share of the movie. So here's to you, 2 million berry. Zala and Mariano are just passers-by. So the decibel is 200,000 berry. The three of Makita caught the box thrown by Li Fan, with a bit surprised expression on their faces. They thought that Li Fan was just talking about it before and did not pay them. Then, well, Director Li Fan, I don't want this remuneration. Makita looked at Li Fan with some fear. At least, use this money and use my performance to save M1 and their lives. You don't have to worry about this. Li Fan waved his hand and interrupted Makita. King Cobra doesn't intend to kill them. After all, they failed to launch a rebellion, so they were only forced to be imprisoned for a few years, and then they will be allowed to leave Alabasta. King Cobra said so. Hearing this, the three of Makita smiled. Thank you, Li Fan. Zala stood up with a beautiful smile on his lips. King Cobra made such a decision. It must be because of you don't talk nonsense. I didn't make any proposals to him. Li Fan shook his head. However, even so, he is worried because we became your actors. Zala laughed. 557. Who knows? Li Fan shrugged. Okay, Makita, Zala, it's not time for you two to rest yet. I'm going to prepare the props for the screening next, and the two of you are here to help. In view of the wrong things you did before, don't complain. As for Mariano, you are too young. Go back to sleep by yourself. Zala and Makita nodded and followed Li Fan's footsteps. When Li Fan came to a corner of the palace, Medusa, Vivi, Cobra Goyu, and a group of soldiers had already been waiting for a long time. Li Fan, you are finally here. Seeing Li Fan's arrival, Vivi waved to Li Fan. Li Fan, look, are these people enough? Well, that's enough. Looking at the heavily armed soldiers around, Li Fan nodded with satisfaction. Then, the work of transporting the projection equipment will trouble everyone. Director Li Fan is very polite. You have brought us peace. Just doing these things, we don't think it is enough. Yeah. If it weren't for Director Li Fan, we might have been fighting rebellion to death. Compared to war, this kind of transportation work, let alone how simple it is. The soldiers said happily, Don't worry, Director Li Fan. We won't let anyone touch these projection equipment. Bell walked in front of Li Fan with a serious expression on his face. Okay, I'll take out the projection equipment now. And after that, please transport the 3 projection equipment to the predetermined location. Li Fan nodded. The screening will officially start at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we will change to the next location after the screening is over. 11, in addition, because this is an open-air screening, there are some difficulties in collecting money for movie tickets. I'll trouble you, Alabasta, to collect it for me. This point, Li Fan guides his heart. The corner of the shell was raised. His Majesty the King has already publicized your deeds to the public. Everyone is very grateful for the rain that brought Alabasta, which brought peace. So, as early as a few days ago, everyone has already started paying for tickets. Although the movie has not yet started to be released, tens of millions of people in Alabasta have already completed their purchases. A total of 12,006,300 berry. What 12,006,300 berry? Suddenly, not far away, Nami's voice came over. Li Fan turned around and found that Nami was running towards this side with eyes shining. Beside Nami, Noa Kigeo followed closely. Li Fan, you have earned so much money. Don't you think about raising the performance fee? Nami said excitedly while holding Li Fan's arm. Your performance fee is 10 million berry. Isn't that very little? Li Fan raised his eyebrows. I remember you were quite excited that you could get so much money. But that's too little compared to the 12 billion you got. Nami clung to Li Fan's body indifferently, with a pitiful expression on his face. Can't you give me a little more? I'm going to have a good talk with you, Nami. Li Fan laughed. First of all, as the boss, I should naturally earn more than the actors. Secondly, I was able to get so much wealth because I have good scripts and good techniques to project, these good stories. The third, which is the most important point. As the boss, I also need to ensure the safety of the actors and fight against pirates who want to rob. So, I think it makes sense that I take a little more. Also, there are many people who are engaged in the profession of actors. If you don't like the 10 million, I can ask someone else to take the money. Hearing this, Nami's eyes widened, as if he wanted to integrate Li Fan's arm into his chest with such strength. Then, that director Li Fan, you're not joking, haha. Nami said a little far-fetched. Who knows? Li Fan looked at Nuo Kigeo at the side. By the way, Nami, do you think it would be good for Nuo Kigeo to play the leading role in the future and you to play a supporting role with a salary of 200,000 yuan? It's not bad to play the leading role. Nuo Kigeo put one hand next to his face, smiling. Hearing Li Fan and Nuo Kigeo's words, Nami's expression became more urgent. Don't worry, Nami. It's just a joke. Li Fan patted Nami's head. In terms of money, I won't treat my actors badly. Since there are more funds now, I will naturally increase the remuneration for the actors when everyone shoots next time. Don't worry. Hearing Li Fan's answer, Nami breathed a sigh of relief. Hey, Li Fan, by the way, can't we give everyone a bonus this time? Even if you don't pay dividends to everyone, it's good to give dividends to me, the heroine. Hearing Nami's selfish words, the corners of Li Fan's mouth twitched fiercely. Without waiting for Li Fan to react, Nuo Kigo walked up to Nami, raised his hand, and gave Nami a brain break. I said, Nami, you are too selfish. He only fights for his own rights. Li Fan nodded, agreeing with Nuo Kigeo's words very much. Yeah, I want to pay dividends only to others, not to you, Nami. But forget it, I did earn a lot this time. After I get the reward, I will double the reward you each received previously. That is to say, Nami, you can get an extra 10 million berry, which should be fine. That's great. Nami jumped up excitedly, and then hugged Li Fan's head and kissed him hard on the face. By the way, Li Fan, the cost of kissing you is 10 million berry. Please give me another 10 million berry later. How dare you say it, Nami? Li Fan touched his face, and had to say that the touch of Nami's red lips really made Li Fan feel good. But, sorry, Nami, molesting me is expensive. Since you kissed me without my permission, I want to charge you. The fee is 10 million berry. So, I won't pay you the dividend this time. Nami's eyes widened, looking at Li Fan in disbelief. What did you say? Haha. Seeing Nami's astonished expression, Nuo Kigeo and Vivi laughed happily.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.